Happy Saturday afternoon, November 19th. We're going into week 11.
Yeah, it's flying by.
How we doing, gentlemen?
Not too bad. Fairly middle.
Doing pretty good.
Good. Got Ryan in front of me. Got Jake to my right.
Is there no one else? Is there no one else?
Nope. There's not anybody else. Mike's working. JT's stuffing his face full of meat. Big meat.
And I think his family's there.
Right in his face.
His family's there. It's really awkward. It's a weird situation.
You gotta go ahead and tell the family what your preferences are at some point.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'll be hosting, sadly again.
Sad for everybody.
You want to just jump on into it?
I'm good with that.
I guess we can.
'Cause there's nothing else I could do with Ryan making sex sounds with his hands. Which he does every night between 11:30 and 12:45. Golly. All right, Jake, what are we starting off with? I'll go ahead and do it. You're laughing. Ryan versus Bryan.
Makes that noise when he's climaxed.
I'm
gonna bring it together.
Yeah.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Rental projection of this matchup: 127 for Fantasy Phenoms, 111.89 for Victim of the System.
That didn't happen.
Both very underwhelming. One underachieved a little bit better.
Yes, indeed.
Final score was 94.5 to 77.3 in favor of Ryan, the Fantasy Phenoms.
Yes.
Your receivers sucked.
Standouts for
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Ryan were Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and
That was
St.
good.
Brown. That's pretty much the
That was
gist
good.
of it. Yeah. Standouts for me, Buffalo played well.
And
Mustard did all right.
The second best running back in that game for that team.
I know. It's just a shit day. Boy, howdy. Jerry Jeudy got injured early, which, unless he was planning on having a monster fucking game, wouldn't have made a difference.
Did Clyde Edwards-Helaire get hurt early? You be the judge.
Did Clyde Edwards-Helaire get hurt?
He played 4 snaps.
4 snaps.
4 snaps.
4 snaps and 7 scores ago.
0 carries.
Tell me more, Sean.
2 targets.
Mm-hmm.
0 catches. 0 yards. League extraordinary job.
Nothing extraordinary about that matchup.
Oh, it sucked.
Ryan, how much do you contribute your season to Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs?
It is my season, buddy. Well, I'll take that back. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and me taking a late flower on Kenneth Walker. And that's about it.
And I think Kenneth Walker would have still broken out because I think he's the better back. But the Penny injury helped, reduce the amount of carries that were being taken away from him and shoved him into the lineup earlier to where he got...
He's the more talented back out of the two anyways.
Yeah.
But it said, hey, Penny's out and he's on a 1-year deal. We're just going to go with the guy we drafted.
Exactly.
I want you to know that I switched to a pencil today, so when I click too much, I have a
It
notification, and I need to bring it back in.
And it also doesn't have the as loud as a pen does.
Yeah, it's a little bit low. I thought about you.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, put my clothes on then, I thought about you again. Got me a
Did you
pencil.
clean up in between there?
I'll let you be the judge later on.
Okay.
All right, yeah, that's about all she wrote on that one. There's not really a lot to talk about with
Losing
that matchup.
Goddard for the year. Or, well, I wouldn't say the year. There's still a possibility he
Son
can
of
come
a
back.
bitch, don't do that.
I think he's out for the year.
Don't do that. Let's have some hope. Don't speak it into
Well,
existence.
I mean, he's out for the regular season for you. He wouldn't come back until playoffs.
Well, you don't know that.
I do know that.
Well,
I
let's
have
see.
hope.
4 weeks, right? It'd be week 14 or 15.
Week 15 he'll come back. So he'll come back for the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
guys,
it.
just don't speak it into existence.
But it is existence.
No, some miracles happen.
Now, did he get hurt on that play where he fumbled and they grabbed his face mask, but they didn't call the face mask?
No,
Maybe.
it's on the
Was it later?
play. Yeah, it was.
Or was it on the lateral play where they scored the
It
touchdown?
was the lateral play.
The last play of the game, then.
No, it's the one before that. Was that the one with the? I don't know. I was drinking.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you, boys. I've got a problem. Okay.
Actually, I don't have a problem with this. Everybody else around me that has
This
a
is the
problem.
time to tell y'all this is not a podcast today, but an intervention for Bryan.
Hey,
I'm hosting.
No, I asked for an intervention for you fellas on Sunday afternoon, and nobody went for it.
What are we intervening?
We'll talk about it later
Okay.
when we get to waiver wire,
The waiver wire wipe up.
and y'all get a chance to put up the intervention banner. because we need one. This matchup's done, though. What are we doing next?
Jake's round to 8-2s. Tied record-wise on the season with Jordon. Just point differential's a little bit different. Drops victim of the system to 4-6 and it's 6th place.
Yes, sir.
Jake, who we got next?
Jordan v. Jake.
Jordan and Jake.
Oh, good God Almighty! Look at this matchup.
Yes.
Jordan has 2 losses on the year.
Back-to-back weeks, right?
No.
No.
It was matchup of the week, and we put him matchup of the week again last
Won.
week, and he won.
Yeah.
So we took him out of matchup of the week, put him against Jake.
That's correct.
He lost. So you got to play him again this week.
Can you do that?
I'll play you this week.
Okay, never mind.
But if you want to lose, I'm cool
We
with that.
tried.
We're going to project this matchup 123-11 for team with no name, 103.7 for
Nice.
Toyd Sandwiches.
The old flipperoo.
Turd Sandwiches decided they weren't going to go projections. Fuck projections, 138.10 to 119.92.
Take that, Funky Cat.
That's right.
Jake, just Jonathan Taylor trade, just went ahead and made itself known right out the gate.
Yep. Worked out well for both of us because we'll talk about that when we get to Broach's team. He benefited in that trade greatly too. But Jonathan Taylor looked like
He looks healthy.
healthy, and for some reason Jeff Saturday's like, I think I am going to play Matt Ryan because he gives us the better chance to win, which they didn't even announce it. It was like pre-game, and people start taking pictures of him under the starting center's ass, and then the backup
And then
quarterback.
they came out of the locker room. He started taking snaps from the guy.
Yeah.
It's like they built some camaraderie quick.
Who was the guy who was starting?
Sam Ellinger.
Yeah,
From Texas.
with the backup center,
Yeah.
and they're like, I guess Matt Ryan's starting, or is it just something weird happened in pregame? And sure enough,
Well, apparently they said
that what happened in the locker room really helped Matt Ryan get back into the saddle, I
Yeah,
guess.
Jeff Saturday said he went up and talked to Matt Ryan on Monday, I guess, when he came into the building, and he wasn't even practicing yet, and he said, I think I'll be throwing later this week. And apparently he got a lot better from the beginning of the week to the end of the week.
Well-
Started, and hey, former MVP starting over a kid that shouldn't be a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Big
I
difference.
don't know what the fuck that's got to do with Jonathan Taylor, but he did good in this ball game.
The entire offense
Good.
looks better when you have competency in
Quarter.
behind the center,
No,
wherever
Matt,
Jake was
yeah,
talking
but Matt
about.
Ryan was playing quarterback.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, is he
They
back
won.
on track?
Back on track.
He was on the other side of the field in that game, and the Raiders still suck, but that dude is a monster.
I mean, back-to-back weeks, 31 and then 23 this past week.
And the week before that, I think he had the flu,
Yep.
and he should have
Yeah.
played. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I think Devontae is going to get a lot of targets. Vegas is just not playing very well right now, and as they continue to be down or in tight games, they continue to throw it. And when
Vegas' offense is 2 players.
him and Jacobs.
It's him and Jacobs. Jacobs is on the other side of this matchup. But yeah, it's basically if
1960.
it's through the air, it's Adams. If it's on the ground, it's Jacobs, and nobody else is relevant.
I'm going to touch on one more player real quick for you. Kadarius
Touch him.
Tony.
Yes.
No, that's... You think that's going to continue for you?
I think actually he's going to get better.
They used him perfectly.
I think they did.
They used him as like a low snap version of how they used to use Tyreek Hill, through the air and giving him like little end arounds and in the backfield occasionally.
Yeah.
And now Juju's hurt.
And
Or a
Hardman's on the
concussion.
hour.
McCole Hardman just got put on IR.
Yep.
He could turn out. He's not going to get to JT's season-long projection, I think, of him being a top 5 or top 12 wide out
Right.
or whatever he said, but he's got a chance to
He's
go.
got-
I think he's an every week starter in my top 3 wide receivers.
Yeah.
If not, he's a flex play for me.
I don't
But
know. I mean, you should start Carter and Allen. The Chargers.
Yeah,
no,
well,
you should.
that's
You
good.
should
No,
start Carter and Allen.
what I like the most about when the trade happened is that he is that scat potential. Like, we're gonna find unique ways to get you the ball.
Would have been perfect time for you to have that.
I don't have it. I've looked for it. I got it. I'll find it.
He was in a Giants offense that didn't really use it like that, like use a player in that situation. But Kansas City thrives with a player like this. So I think it's still. I don't know how good he is with the playbook. I think that was always an issue with the Giants' rookie year. And I think the more he gets comfortable with a very complex offense, the more he's on the field, and the more he's on the field, the more plays he can make.
But if you don't know the offense, the best way to get involved is you do a jet sweep, get the ball in your hands, and all it is a toss.
Yeah.
Or you get quick little wide receiver bubble screens and just use your athleticism until he can learn the other
Yes.
stuff.
On the other side of the matchup, Carr, not terrible. 22.
What did I tell y'all? Derek Carr's never thrown 30 touchdowns in a season, and it's not going to happen this year.
McLaurin, he had a good game.
Yeah.
I mean,
McLaurin
Jordan
has
didn't have a
looked
bad
great.
week.
Ever
And
since
Hopkins has
Taylor
too.
Heineke took over for Carson Wentz, McLaurin's been back to being relevant.
Yeah.
Let's see, what's McLaurin's last couple of weeks looking like? 15.8, 13.6, 8.1, 16.8.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he started all 4 of those.
Yes.
I think the biggest difference was Jordan Eckler, who had been putting up monster stats recently.
He didn't have Eckler or
20,
Burrow.
30, 19, 33, 31. I mean, that dude has been killing it at 9.8. So that was a big difference, losing that 20 points right there.
It was.
20 points wins them the matchup.
Yep.
Claypool had a bad game, but that was a sketchy start anyways.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
You
one.
can't trust anybody on Chicago outside of Justin Fields.
I like both of the running backs for Washington.
Now, we didn't think that Washington was going to beat Philly.
No.
Nobody thought
And Philly's run defense has been very good, but when they lost Jordan Davis,
Mm-hmm.
the mountain of a man that was at Georgia that they drafted in the first round, since he got hurt, people have been able to run on Philly last couple of weeks. So they went out and signed 3 defensive tackles.
I mean, both of them had a good matchup. Jordan,
119 points.
You're not going to complain about that.
You're fine.
It's not like it's going to hurt him whenever we get to playoff time. Jake, though, 138. I mean, that was a needed win.
Yep.
Jake, your team's been on a tear ever since you said you had nobody to play. So.
Well, Ryan, I did lose someone else. Heck Ertz went down with a season-ending injury.
Hey, don't say that.
This one's official.
Yeah, this one is. He's out for the year. I think they said that.
Yeah. And
The only difference is that on Bryan's team, they have Goddard on the IR.
Right.
They've still got Ertz only listed as out.
Yeah,
Even though
I
I'm
know.
pretty sure they announced that he
It's
was out
out.
for the season.
And he finishes, well, as of this week, he was the 3rd highest scoring tight end in fantasy
He was a
football.
pleasant surprise.
Yes.
Everybody
Yeah.
thought he was over the hill last year, and he actually
So
has been very relevant.
kind of led to things we'll talk about later on the waiver wire.
Yep.
That's going to take Jordan to 8-2, still in first place. Again, record tied with Ryan.
Coming for you.
It's your point differential if you look at it. That's the points.
It's the points. If you look at
That's going to take Jake to 5th place, 5-5. Big climb back there, brother.
Thank you.
And I believe we talked about this the other day. I'll just go ahead and touch on it. We got the top 4 teams have already clinched for the playoffs. Am I right?
we talked about going into last week, Jordan was the only one that had clinched.
Yep.
All right.
But after this week, I added to that JT and I think Michael.
Yes,
right?
all
Okay.
3 of y'all were added to that list.
Okay.
So
Good deal.
it shrinketh.
Yes. The available playoff spots, if you're in the pool,
Never shrinkage.
Hey,
What we got next, Jake?
get in the pool.
next matchup.
Next one.
Tyler v. Michael. What a matchup this one was.
Rental projection 105.32 to 121 in favor of Tyler. And you're right, Jake. This one was a barn burn. 135.88, 132.8. Michael coming out with a victory.
What a game. Not just from the fantasy matchup here, but that Buffalo-Minnesota game had some of the best catches I have seen in a regular season game. The Stephon Diggs across the middle, one-hand grab.
Somebody was excited to talk about this matchup.
If Stephon Diggs, if the Jefferson catch didn't happen, that might have been the catch of the year. It was the second best catch in the game.
That's crazy. Well, it was a
Second
2
best
minute
catch, like, yeah.
span. I mean, it was like one after the other. And then the Jefferson one-hand rip away. The DB had to pick, and he went one-hand Odell style, ripped it back away, and somehow kept it cupped as he went to the ground.
It was a better catch than the Odell one.
Yes.
Because it wasn't a touchdown, it won't get talked about like that, and
But
it
it
wasn't
was-
on Monday Night Football. But this one was, 4th and 19?
Yes.
If he doesn't make that catch, it's a pick. If he doesn't make that catch, the drive's over, Buffalo runs out the clock, Buffalo wins.
Buffalo's been in 2 of the best games I've ever watched in the last 2 years. The Kansas City playoff game
One of
and
the
then
greatest
this
games
one.
ever.
Yes, and then
One
this
of the
one.
greatest games
I mean,
ever.
they literally had the 4th down stop on the goal line, thought they had won it, and I'm watching it here at the house. I was like, man, he can't take a knee.
We're
Like,
at Jake's
there's-
house, by the way.
There is no way that he takes a knee because it's on the 1-inch line.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what I would do is maybe run around in the back of the end zone, take a safety,
Yeah, just
make
run-
it a
just run out
1-point
of the
game,
back
and then
end
kick
zone.
it away with 10 seconds left.
Run
or
out of the
whatever.
back of the end zone, make him get into field goal range.
Yep. But instead, fumbles the snap, recovered by the Vikings, touchdown.
Josh Allen has struggled the last couple of weeks with late game turnovers.
Right.
They had a chance to win the game at the end through the pick in the end zone.
Yeah.
But then he sent it to overtime, right?
That's what I'm saying. In
Oh,
overtime,
yeah.
he had a chance to
But,
win the
I mean-
game because Minnesota came down and kicked a field goal.
That's
And that's what you do.
And
You
they had
play
a
to win
chance
the game.
Yeah, you play to win the game. Yeah, he
I
had a
know.
chance to come back.
And
win.
Michael's now King Midas because everything he touches turns to gold. His MVP pick goes down for the year. Nobody, none of us, in all the podcasts we've done, nobody has said, you know what? Mike should think about picking up Justin Fields.
Well, he drafted Justin
No.
Fields.
hold on a second. I'm gonna pull back up his
Because he said
his
Justin
season
Fields.
long predictions were Michael. All right, well, first one I forgot about this one. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a top 16 running back. Jeez and rice. But he said Trey Lance is a fantasy and league MVP, and he said Justin Fields would be second.
No, he did not say that.
I didn't write it down, but I remember him saying it. He did.
So
say
this
it.
is just you saying that.
No, he was
But
big.
he
on
said it, but
Fields.
that wasn't his bold prediction.
Nothing about Michael's big.
No.
His heart. Your heart, sir.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, Justin Fields, he drafted.
Maybe the biggest one.
He drafted Lance and Fields though, and said both of them are going to be
Yeah.
good. He said it on draft night. He thought Fields was going to go off.
Well,
And it took him a while to.
But I'm pretty sure he dropped Fields and then picked him back up,
Yeah.
right?
Because Fields sucked at the beginning of the
he's
year.
merely toying with us.
17, 8, 4, 10, and then it really started picking up around week 5. 19, 20, 25, 30, 53, 41.
As soon as they figured out, hey,
He can run.
do you think we should let the guy that we drafted as a dual threat guy
Let him.
be
use
dual
one of the
threat.
other two threats?
Also, Gabe Davis, he had a good game. The third of his team that's from me, for the most part, did pretty good, except for Kamara.
What'd you think about our offer on the podcast last week? That I think Jake said it, or JT said it, that he had 2/3 of your original backfield with Fournette and Kamara. And I said, what if you offered Fournette and Kamara back to Bryan for Derrick Henry? Do you think Bryan would do it?
No.
Okay. just thought I'd ask.
On the other side of the ball, let's go ahead and look. Tyler didn't have a bad week. Very, very good week.
No.
Jefferson putting up 30. Geno Smith still defies the odds. I still can't buy into him. I'll just let him keep doing what he's doing and say I still don't believe it. Lockett, steady. ETN, that's pretty much where
It's a little
That
bit of a down
Ingram-
week for him. Him and Pierce both kind of, I guess, underperformed in what Tyler was hoping. I think he was hoping for around 30 from him. Instead, got like 20 from him.
Two people had a bold prediction that those two would combine for 45 plus.
I felt like I was in on that one, so that one kind of hurt me. But I do feel like I did tell Tyler something else while we were doing this matchup preview last week. Do y'all remember what I said?
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that he doesn't have CeeDee Lamb over Aaron Jones. Like, to me, that's the easy change in the line.
Which I feel like, I don't know if he's updated his lineup.
He has a little bit because I've been. He's pretty.
I feel like Gino, he's still got Gino in over Dak.
Maybe he likes chances, but I like
He might.
I
And he's
like
got
Prescott
CD.
more against a bad Green Bay defense.
Yeah, I'd probably go.
So if he had gone with what me and Ryan recommended to him, the double up with CD and Prescott, even though Aaron Jones did have a good week, that would have pushed him well over Michael's 135.
I'm not the smallest man, puts him at 142.
Would have put him at 142 plus Prescott
Is
being
142
2
just
points
on its
higher.
own bigger than 135?
140,
I think so.
144, 145. So, guys, I understand most of our bold predictions are not correct. We realize it ourselves. But, man, when we're right and you don't listen, it costs you a victory.
But there's a difference between a bold prediction where we try to go bold and just a, hey, this would be smarter to do. You know, those are recommendations.
Tyler, I hope you're listening.
He said he wouldn't.
Oh, he better be.
Oh, he's hate listening right now.
Michael carries on.
These guys.
Puts EC sitting in fourth place, 7-3, record time with called personality. That takes Tyler to 2-8 on the season, 9th place. Just a sneeze out of 8th. What's the next matchup?
Next matchup, JT v.
What am I-
Ransdale.
JT Ransdale.
Rams diddy ball.
Copernicus. Copernicus. Birthday. This is
Never go for retard.
All right, so JT's team played Andrew's team. And what happened?
Well, JT won 109-96.
109-96 indeed. JT's team was led by the people that have been leading his team all week. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley still stayed pretty strong. Big injury to old Cooper Kupp, though. That's going to really hurt him.
Oh, all right, I'm with you.
What do you think,
I'm
Ron?
with you. Yeah, got the win, but at a cost. Cooper Kupp is going to be that's a big. But you know what? He's got the $100 man on his team, so maybe
He
Cooper
does
Kupp.
have the $100 man. Yet again, not in his lineup, but he does have him.
But when you're talking about losing a player whose worst week, outside the injury, take a deep breath, brother. Deep breath. Don't bring me back down with you. His worst week was actually against Carolina, where he put up 13 points. So
His worst week, he had 7 catches for 80 yards.
yeah, I mean that's
The dude
that's
has been the
shock.
model of consistency for the past 2 seasons.
But I mean, JT did have Pollard's. That's his backfield. It's going
Pollard's
to be
his
his
backfield, but Zeke is supposed to come back this week, so we'll see how it pans out.
Man,
when
I'm
Zeke
telling
actually
you.
plays.
Do you think?
Pollard's the better player, but
Do you
Did
think
you see what
Zeke-
Zeke said? He's like, I think I'm going to try to give it a go, but I have to wear a brace. If I'm Dallas right now and I'm playing as well as I am with Pollard in the backfield, why am I rushing a guy who's going to take carries away, who isn't healthy and is not as good as the
Is
starter?
there peppermint in this coffee?
I don't know. As good as the guy, or
I think I'm having this
lost the
drunk.
train of thought there. Sorry, the peppermint got me a little bit.
And Peppermint
I think
Patty will
I'm
get you every time. No,
I don't know,
the thing
like,
is, like, hey,
you're
why
rushing
mess
Zeke
with
back.
something's working
Yes.
for a guy that's like if Pollard went down last week and they had nobody else, Zeke, yeah, try to give it a go with a knee brace.
Do you think you just make Pollard the starter for the remainder of the season? And Zeke's now his backup getting the 40%?
I think he should be.
Or does he start but get the 40% and Pollard outworks him just to keep Zeke happy with I'm the starter?
Yeah, Zeke, I mean, you can appease Zeke
Yeah.
and Jerry Jones. Like, hey, Zeke's quote unquote the starter, but it's like Jamal Crawford being the 6th man off the bench playing like 38 minutes a night.
Do you
Like,
trust
he's
Zeke
technically
within a
not
fantasy
starter.
lineup?
Depending on what my roster looked like, but probably not anything more than the flex, hoping for a touchdown type thing. Because I don't think
Because he's touchdown dependent.
yeah, he is basically a touchdown or bust type guy right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think JT, we had even mentioned it last week with the Tyreek Cooper Kupp kind of being his 2 top duos. Losing Cooper Kupp does hurt him greatly. He did make the trade last week for Tee, which
Great
will kind of
trade.
fill in for that void. We'll see how he progresses and
But he
does,
lost
especially when
he
Chase
lost
comes
a lot
back.
of pretty good depth in that
Yeah.
too that he could have.
Yeah, the depth could have hurt a little bit, but his running game's just been so strong for him. Barkley with 22.5 and then Pollard with 20.
And he's
Miles
got
Sanders had a bad week at 5.4, but that's probably his worst
He
performance.
got David
this season.
Montgomery still on his team, and Khalil Herbert went down
Yeah.
on IR, so now David Montgomery's back to being a workhorse.
Now his JT's draft of boomer bust and getting enough guys that if one guy busts, another guy booms is paying off.
But I mean, you got to look. He did use his 1st round pick on Cooper Kupp, so it's hard to lose a 1st round pick,
Yeah.
and your
It
team
makes
not
it
being
easier to
impacted.
go after Tyreek Hill if you got Cooper Kupp. Because if Tyreek has a 4-point game, Cooper's still going to put up 14, 17 points on a bad week.
I mean, you're losing a consistent, like you said, 15 to 20 points every week, and that was just set in stone. Like, hey, Cooper Kupp, I can rely on him to get me 15 every week.
Right.
And then the
Not
other
having that stalwart in your spot, I mean, it's going to make an impact.
It is
Now
gonna
he's
make an
got
impact.
he's got a team around him where he can make up for it, but losing that safety valve of just hey every week.
the big thing that I do look at on JT's team with this injury is, his 3rd wide receiver is Ben Palmer, who has been the benefactor of the top 2 wide receivers both being out, who
Yeah.
both have been practicing this week.
Yep.
And if they do come back in a full capacity, Palmer now goes from wide receiver 1 to wide receiver
Possibly
3.
droppable
Yeah.
in fantasy.
Because really, he's an
out.
outside receiver with Carter and who's the other slot
It'll be
receiver?
Keenan. It'll be Keenan in the slot with
yeah.
Palmer and Williams on the outside.
Outsides. Yeah.
But if it's 2 wide receiver set, it's going to be Allen and Williams,
Yep.
and Carter goes off.
So, now you're looking at Tyreek
He's got
Tee
to start Tyreek Tee
and
and
then
then
Garrett
Garrett
Wilson,
Wilson probably.
yeah.
So
with
he's-
no big depth kind of behind those
right.
guys.
I mean, it's one of those things you don't have to play, but the roster spots we got. So your bench depth doesn't
Yeah.
matter in the playoffs, but we still got a few weeks before the
His
playoffs
running
starts.
games are so strong. Tyreek's still the best receiver in football. Jalen Hurts has been a top 5 quarterback.
He's got
His
about-
team is still one of the best in the league. But this injury does hurt
Makes him
an area
vulnerable.
of
Makes him a little vulnerable.
yeah.
He's got about 9 hours right now, as of us recording this, to make a trade for a wide receiver. Maybe
JT,
deal one of those running backs to get a wide receiver.
I'll take one of those running backs off your hand.
Speaking of running backs, we go over to Andrew. Garoppolo starting, 15.9. That's about what you'd expect out of him.
Playing
Debo,
against the Chargers, I expected more, but that game's just
Yeah.
ugly.
Debo himself, 6 points. Juju took an injury. What's that looking like?
He's
Juju
out.
had a nasty looking hit to the head. He's out with a concussion, but it
I don't
didn't
even think
look good. So
yeah.
I think he's already announced out for this coming week.
That's not a good
and
sign.
it could possibly be
2 or 3
long
weeks,
term.
yeah.
It was a
The
nasty
way they're
hit.
doing concussions now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
If
they're
he has
jail
any
for a
symptoms,
little bit.
they are going to hold him out for
They're putting you in a
multiple
concussion protocol now. Like Matt Stafford missed the game last week, never had a concussion. They held him out. They've
Yeah.
done that before to other people. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown got knocked out like second play of the game a few weeks ago, and they said he tested negative for a concussion, but they still held him out of the game.
Yeah.
And then held
Mike
him out.
Williams got that concussion right after Tua's, and he passed his concussion protocol that Tuesday. They held him out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy that.
I get it. Look, I'm not gonna, you know,
Yeah, but it's talking about how to
overabundance
project,
of caution.
how to project these guys, how long they're going to be out. There's no way you
Right.
can do it. It's just a.
You know, another
Lazard- go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry,
No, go
I
ahead.
was going to say one of the surprises on kind of like Andrew's team has been Jeff Wilson, McCaffrey, Foreman. But even look at his bench, man. He had James Conner on the bench with 22.1.
Which that was his first week back from injury. I
Yeah,
think,
but I
right?
mean,
So
he
it's-
looked good.
He put up 22
No, it was-
against
it was-
the Rams defensive line.
It was his second week back. I take that back. But he scored twice. He did the same thing he did last year, where he's just not very efficient with his touches, but he got into the end zone.
And I know Andrew feels, pretty solid about his team, which I would too, but he's got 4 good running backs that could be an every week starter or should be an every week starter, and the most you can start is 3. Like, I would flip one of those 4 wide receiver going into
Jeff Wilson
Jeff
was
Wilson has
left for dead.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, but Jeff Wilson was left for dead as soon as the McCaffrey trade happened.
Yep.
Because it was basically like, hey, it's going to be McCaffrey, and then when he gets back, Elijah Mitchell. And then San Francisco did him a favor, traded him to Miami.
And that guy
And now he's almost, I think, overtaken Mostert
Right.
as far as the most
And
efficient running back.
almost, he pretty much has.
Well, I mean, they both
He
have
looks
looked very
good
well
in his
together.
system.
Because they looked very well together 2 years ago in
Jeff
San
Wilson's
Francisco.
always looked better when he's not just a primary ball carrier.
He's not big enough to be a primary,
Yeah.
which I don't think Mostert is either.
No.
I think
But
they're
they complement
better
each
when
other.
it's a 50-50
Both of them together,
split.
like, hey, we can get 2 track stars in here running it. And I think he's an every week start for Andrew moving forward, I believe.
Over who?
Those 3. It's Foreman, McCaffrey, and Jeff Wilson. And then
So
you
you
try
leave
to, I
James
try
Conner
to
on?
flip James Conner.
Well, with all that being said, that's going to take JT to 7-3, sitting in 3rd place. That's going to drop Ransdiddy to 2-8 and in 10th. Also, just a sneeze out of 8th. Matchup of the week, boys.
Hot dogs.
What we got, Jake?
Scorp v. Broach.
Scopity Broach.
Another great matchup.
Yep, very good.
Ron, our matchup wasn't great. Both of us sucked.
Mm-hmm. Everybody else had
Some of
really
these
good
others
weeks.
just leave it pretty good.
They picked it up for us. Thank God we weren't matchup of the week.
Yes.
Regional was 114 to 106 in favor of Scorpion King. This close one ends up being 115 to 112 in favor of Broach.
Which has another Joker quote as his teammate.
Yeah,
Yes, I like it.
JT's grabbing the Kleenex and lotion every time he makes a change.
Oh, yeah.
Pat Mahomes doing Pat Mahomes things at 39. Trevor Lawrence, that's a solid week, 24.
25.
And that came out late because I believe he didn't really come out the gates. I think most of that was
I
second
mean, I think he
half.
had a touchdown to Kirk pretty early, and
Yeah.
I think he had a garbage one
Another
late.
late one.
But Pat Mahomes has overtaken Josh Allen as the number 1 fantasy player on the season now
Wow.
after
Yeah.
this week.
Wide receivers, nothing outstanding except for Christian Kirk.
That Kirk Lawrence double up that he had worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah.
Because his starter is usually who? Lamar Jackson,
yep.
who was on bye. So that worked out pretty well. Good call on that double up.
Yeah, Christian Kirk's a top 10 wide receiver on the season. Has been having a lot of targets. His biggest boom in this game was really the touchdowns. So he's clearly the one that Lawrence trusts the most in big plays. He had a hell of a throw route catch over the shoulder in the corner
Just
late.
a full passing
Yeah, I
play.
mean it was because he broke the corner pretty well with the inside move and then went back out to the pylon corner route. It was kind of over his back shoulder. We had to kind of turn and track. It was a difficult catch, and then got 2 feet in, which was very impressive. It was a very good week for Christian Kirk, who he just got in a trade, which we talked about earlier.
I don't know if y'all remember in like March or April, whenever free agency happened in the NFL, Christian Kirk signed like a 4-year, $80 million
Almost
contract
out of the
almost out of the gate
Yeah.
with Jacksonville. And everybody's like, why are they giving this much money to a
this
player like this? Because they said, hey,
He's a
this is
one-trick
going to
pony.
set the precedent for everybody else's wide receiver contracts. I was upset that Mike Williams got as much as he got from the Chargers, and then Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, all these deals for all these receivers, and they kept doing that. One of these things is not like the other with Christian Kirk. He's gotten to Jacksonville. He's the alpha, and has looked like he's worth every single penny. So, good on you, Jacksonville.
Your running back matchups, that Dalvin Cook 22 would have been outstanding if Patterson's 2.5 wasn't there.
I'm not sure. I didn't watch a ton of that game. Why did he not get that many carries?
So I'm very confused because Patterson was the kickoff return. Like, he was the returner, but they said they were trying to limit his carries.
Yeah.
But they gave him a full workload the week before.
It reminded me a lot of him in Minnesota.
That was a Thursday night game,
Yeah,
right? I think we talked about it on the podcast.
I guess
last week.
because of the rain and they didn't want him to re-injure the knee.
Don't
or
blame it on the rain.
No, I really.
But if it's the
I don't know
rain,
what else
why
to
is he
do.
on kickoff?
Yeah, it's
Good zone.
the most dangerous position.
It's the most violent hit in football is when you got guys running and get like an 80-yard head start.
Right. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But it doesn't bother me because Carolina won the game. Felt like it would have been a little bit different otherwise.
Wow.
Dang right.
I know.
Yeah, I wish they could play against Carolina every week because that.
But Nick Chubb and Singletary, both, just good weeks.
Yeah.
Good weeks.
And Dalvin had a good week too. I know we kind of mentioned that. I
Yeah.
feel like he had kind of been teetering a little bit too. 12, 22, 14, 25. I'm wrong. He's been doing pretty
I
consistent.
think he had a 66-yard touchdown
He
or
did have a pretty big
61-yard
run.
touchdown. But I know Devin Singletary early in that game, that was Josh Allen's first game after hurting his elbow. So I was like, okay, are they going to give Devin Singletary the ball every single snap down there at the goal line? And first half he had 2 touchdowns early, so it looked like
I feel like
he was
Singletary
benefiting
always
off of
turns
that.
it on late in fantasy seasons because he really helped Michael
He's not on
last year.
Michael's team, yeah.
Yeah.
The risk of Pierce, didn't hurt him. Almost hurt him. Didn't hurt him. Going back up real quick, I'm sorry. Hawkinson, I think Hawkinson in Minnesota is going to be a good marriage.
Hawkinson, I've said it kind of tongue-in-cheek, like Hawkinson's the best tight end in football,
Yeah.
just on the talent level, but he wasn't getting used at all. Why do you take a tight end at 8th overall in the NFL draft and then only throw it to him like 2 or 3 times a game?
Right.
Minnesota trades for him mid-season, says, hey, this guy's a stud, we're going to use him like that.
Yeah.
That is, like you said, it's been a match made in heaven.
And look, it's 8 points. It's nothing really to get excited about. But,
I think he's got, 17 or 18 targets in 2 games?
yeah.
19 targets in 2 games.
It's going to grow and blossom into something a lot better.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
George Kittle, he can't figure out if he wants to be good this year or not.
I'm telling
Those
you,
tight ends are like that.
McCaffrey get into that offense has completely changed every other piece in that offense. Like, it doesn't make them worse, it just makes them not as necessary because McCaffrey can do so much.
I personally wish Jamal Williams would fall off a cliff and that Swift would just go ahead and get the damn carries.
Yeah.
And down in the defense, Arizona, solid 12, start, finish with the same amount. Indianapolis losing 3 on that.
Yeah.
Long story short, that's going to take Broach, who acts like he's given up on his season and
No, he
is
should.
winning games now.
He's in the playoff spot.
Yeah, he's sitting in 8th place at 3-7. Scorp is in 7th place at 4-6.
All right.
Good battles.
Good fantasy.
Let's
trying
get
to
through
get
this next part quick, so we've taken our time
All right.
here.
Pick updates.
Pick
We're
updates.
only 33 minutes in.
Oh,
Pick
really?
updates.
Feels like we've been doing this for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
The winner of last week was Michael at 4-1, bringing his season total to 30-20. After that, you had Bryan, who is in first place in picks, go 3-2 with an overall record of 37-13. And then you had Jake go 3-2, bringing him to sole possession of second place at 31-19. And then JT went 2-3, dropping him to third place. Tied with Michael at 30-20. And then
Ryan made picks last week,
Ryan went 1 for
He
4,
did.
Yeah.
dropping him to dead last, 28-22.
Pretty sure I've been
I
last
I
week.
guarantee you, if you let Bayla make your picks this week, you will do better than 1-4.
She's pretty good at it.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Okay.
All right. With that being said, you want to go to the bold prediction recap?
Yeah,
Did
bold
we
prediction
do
recap.
anything noteworthy?
Oh, I took a note on all of them. Let's see. Brian was not here last week. Didn't make any bold predictions.
Goose egg.
I'll just go with the overall numbers. So Jake was 3 for 8.
Woo!
JT was 2 for 6.
Sucks.
May the 7th one was voided because it was a stipulation that, hey, this bold prediction only happens if Case Keenum starts and Josh Allen doesn't. Michael had a similar one, so Michael was 2 for 5 with one voided, and Ryan was 2 for 7. Everybody that made those numbers had 2 or 3 right, but one of them we all shared. We all picked Chris Godwin to score this first touchdown of the year, and he did. So that one was right. Another one Jake got right was Kadarius Toney scores double digits. He did.
Easily.
He had 17. And then you had Devontae Adams outscoring his quarterback Derek Carr, which happened. And then, like I said, Chris Godwin scoring a touchdown. And none of yours were very, very bad, but that one was. We'll get to JT's first one here. CEH scores 2 touchdowns. Clyde Edwards-Helaire for 2 touchdowns on JT's.
Give me that stat on Clyde again.
He had 0 carries, 2 targets,
Right.
0 catches,
Uh-huh.
0 yards,
Uh-huh.
4 snaps.
Uh,
So he had as many looks as JT predicted him to get touchdowns. Didn't happen. 4 snaps, 0 catches, 0 carries, 0 touchdowns. JT's an idiot. Another one JT got right. He said Tua would score 3 touchdowns in 3 straight weeks. He has had 9 touchdowns in the last 3 games. So JT got that one right.
boy's doing
I
good.
like Tua.
And
Tua,
then,
Tua.
yet again, the other one that we all got right was Chris Godwin's touchdown. Michael, the 2 he had right, said Amari Cooper would score in single digits, which if you've looked at Amari Cooper's splits on the season, he does very good in home games, terrible in away games. This past week was an away game. He had 4.7.
I don't understand it.
Yep. And so, let's see. In Ryan's picks, he went 2 for 7. Chris Godwin's one of them. Right, scored a touchdown. Good job. The other one I got right, I said Derrick Henry would score in single digits.
And we thought you were crazy.
Everybody thought I was an idiot. He got 7.7.
And now who's laughing?
Who's laughing now? Me. But I said Devo would score 20 plus, and he only scored 6. So,
Devo.
there we go. All right, everybody got at least 2 right, except for Bryan that wasn't here, but went 100% or 0%, whichever way you want to look at it.
I am a glass half full kind of guy.
And I'm going to say it was 0%.
Yeah,
Well,
0.
you can
Because
suck
0
a
for
penis.
0 is 0.
All right.
Just a quick update. TCU came back and won.
Well, how about
I
that?
did see that.
And Michigan is down a point with 47 seconds left.
Oh, please.
So who's got the ball?
Michigan.
Okay.
All right.
Next up.
Next up, we got
Waiver wire wrap
Waiver
up.
Wild Wrap Up. I got Fab on it. Brian, you're going to sing that next week. It's going to happen. We're
No,
gonna
it's
get-
not. It's not.
It don't happen! All right, talk
What
about
we
it.
got? What we got, Jake?
All right. The highest bidded player this week was Christian Watson, who has already played on Thursday night and has shown why he went for the value that he did,
He did good.
becoming right now Aaron Rodgers' top target.
Jake, what's the damn points on there? What was the
It
offers?
wasn't points, it
What
was
was the
money.
offers?
It was dollars.
First off, Ryan won with $51.
Yep.
Scorp was second with 40. Andrew at 38. Jake at 21. Broach at 11. Tyler at 8. And Joshua Thaddeus Trogdon
Spent all of his money on this bid.
put
$0.
$0.
Why would you put $0 in if you know everybody? He had to know everybody's going to put in a large amount.
If everybody just, I mean, he splurged his load. He put everything
Who
he had.
got him?
I did. With 51. I'll tell you what happened.
He should have put in it. I'd have put in at least
$52, JT. That's going to
No,
take it.
Why didn't he? Does he think his team's that good? His wide receivers that good?
Huh?
JT.
Oh, because you don't have any money.
Because he doesn't have any.
Why don't he have any?
I don't know.
Who do they think they are, the New York Jets?
He took their number 1 receiver, Garrett Wilson.
Oh, okay. Well,
All right.
obviously Garrett Wilson's probably been the top 5 receiver if he spent that much money.
Sure. He'd been in your lineup every single week, right?
Yeah, of course.
No, he is not.
Oh, okay.
But, all right, my Christian Watson story. Told you it might take a little bit, but we're going to get to it.
Oh, that's right.
Sit back and
So,
enjoy.
Josh Allen hurt his elbow, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So, I didn't think he was going to play.
Yes.
So, on Saturday afternoon, right before we recorded the podcast, I picked up Tom Brady.
Yes.
Well, I get the news as I was going into church Sunday morning that Josh Allen's going to play.
It's the perfect time to get that news.
So, I was going to go drop Tom Brady. Forgot Tom Brady played in Germany at 9:30 in the morning.
Oh,
so
no.
I was like, I can't drop Tom Brady. And the player I was going to go drop Tom Brady for was Christian Watson. And I was like, well, dadgummit. Well, then Sunday afternoon rolls around, and I was like, you know what? Hey, I'll try to drop Tom Brady again. Wouldn't let me because Traylon Burks was in my IR spot, and he was activated. Didn't know that. Took Traylon Burks out of my IR spot, went to drop Tom Brady just to drop him, and it let me do it. So I could have dropped Tom Brady 9:30 in the morning as soon as I saw that Josh Allen was playing, and I would have been able to get Christian Watson. But I forgot about the little IR snag where you can't
Yep.
drop people. So I could have had Christian Watson for $0 just as a
All
free
free.
agent pickup. Alas, I didn't remember how our lineups work, so I had to waste $51 on a player that I could have gotten for free.
I'll give you this
And I tried to get for free.
little piece of advice.
What's that?
He who hoots with the Owls at night can't soar with the Eagles in the morning.
That's a good point. No wiser words.
Me and the other Eagles were sitting in the church pew.
Sure.
Yes. Not paying attention to the
I
fantasy lineup.
guarantee you, old man Jenkins was up at 6 o'clock in the morning checking his fantasy team out.
You got to wake up pretty early in the morning to get one past old man Jenkins.
That's true.
Everybody know that. All right, next
What we got,
next play.
Jake? Next highest bid was Cole Kmet, $15 to Jake.
Good ad.
K-Met.
Also
Good
being put bids on were Bryan at 7, Tyler at 3,
Ryan at 16.
and then
But I had,
with Christian Watson.
yeah, if I got Christian Watson, I couldn't get Komet because I was
Which
dropping
I'm-
the same player.
Really glad you had
Yeah.
that because I needed a tight end.
Yeah, you lost your tight end for the year.
Yep. And he's looked really good with Justin Fields. He's been Fields'
I think
number
he
one red
scored
zone target.
3 or 4 touchdowns last
Yeah.
2
I
weeks.
think he's been over 20 points last 2
Emergency
weeks.
Fields has helped commit out.
Yeah.
Then after that, Darius Slayton, who JT had advised me to pick up and play last week, and I didn't listen. Then I listened to him this week.
Yep.
And I added him and will start him. Got him for $1. And I also picked up Aaron Rodgers for $3 to play while Tua's on bye.
Two.
I think there was a couple of defenses added, but I don't really care.
New
about
Orleans for $3 to Tyler, Washington $2 to Broach, and that's all we need to know about that. Clyde Edwards-Helaire's out there on free agency if anybody wants him.
Drop him.
Throwing that out there. That's what I dropped to get Christian Watson.
Oh.
He's out there to be on your team if anybody wants him.
I'm not going to touch
Any
him.
takers?
Is that all of Jake?
That's it. That's what we got. No
That's all.
trades though, right?
I did not see any trades. And
Well, the last trade was
the trade, JT, but we talked about it on the pod
November the 13th, which was the
Saturday or Sunday morning.
the Herbert and Higgins for Madison, Ayuk, and Jamal Williams.
Yep.
Well, if you're going to get them trades out there, get them out quickly.
Got to
This
get
is-
them out today.
This
Today's
is
the
it.
This is
deadline.
it.
I'm pretty sure.
So
This is
y'all
it.
better listen to this podcast before Sunday morning
All right.
and start offering
Let's see.
stuff.
Hold on a second. Trade deadline November the 19th. Today is the 19th.
What
there
time?
you go, boys.
What time does it have a
Is
time?
that midnight?
I'm pretty
time?
sure it's mid. I'm pretty sure 11:59,
Woo!
59 seconds.
Just take it down, boys. Do we want to make one on the pod right now? Want to make one on the pod right now? Anyone?
Me and Michael had a trade
in.
in the works all week, and then he ended up saying he didn't want to do it. So I was like, well, that's fine.
Uh,
That's fine.
God, burnt the hell out of my tongue.
well, it
Hot
happens.
coffee?
What's hot coffee?
Hot coffee.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So now what are we doing?
So now we're going
How's
to.
everybody feeling so far in the pod? Everybody having a good time?
Everybody good?
Everybody's enjoying
Everybody good?
Need a pee-pee break or anything?
Ooh.
You'll just jump right in there with the preview there?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, then. Jake, who we got in our first matchup?
it. Well, me and Ryan actually.
Well, son of a
You and
bitch.
me, both of us together.
Me and Ryan.
Michigan just took the lead with 9 seconds left.
Well,
Well,
that's.
how about that, boys?
Alrighty.
They don't call them Michigan for nothing.
You know what, Ron? Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Do you have the original projection before?
Yeah, original projection, Ryan 120.62, Jake 104.6.
And that brings us up to
Our
live projection, where Ryan is sitting at 130.46, Jake's sitting at 111.18. That is kind of odd to say because Jake
It's winning.
is winning the matchup. He's had Aaron Rodgers go put up 23. He's also had Tennessee go put up 13. And Ryan has had Christian Watson already go. He
The
put up
$51 man.
a solid 19.
Yes.
Beating this projection pretty much by 10 points.
Yes.
You and I spoke
Thursday.
Thursday
Mhm.
This
before
is
the game.
Ryan and Jake. We can't see finger pointing on the podcast, but those two fellas were talking.
You had concerns about Rodgers. You were going to start him, but you still. What'd you say? What we between 20
I get-
fit, or you want to know
Well,
at least 20?
the easy matchup quarterback would have been Russell Wilson, but I do
Right.
not trust Russell Wilson. I was not going to play Russell Wilson.
Two quarterbacks struggling. I would much rather start Aaron Rodgers
Rodgers,
struggling.
and,
What's
but
the-
I thought he had kind of broke out the week before. Like he at least moved the ball, found Christian Watson, looked good.
He had a touchdown machine now.
Yes, and
Yeah, he's got a guy.
the other
Now you're-
players that were available for pickup were too hit or miss. Like I felt like the more reliable start, or the one that was the least likely to get me 5 points, was Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers had the highest floor.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
he's
I also thought
reigning
if
MVP.
Watson was getting plugged into your
Two-time.
lineup, it could kind of offset it in some regards, which you kind of did back to me with Watson against Rodgers.
Rodgers only had 2 passing touchdowns. Both of them went to the
Watson.
receiver that I started. So.
At least it wasn't the scenario where I think Jordan tried to do it to me the week before with Devontae versus Carr, but Devontae outscored Carr. So I was still able to get a little bit of a point advantage, but not in terms of the projection where you greatly jumped it and Rodgers beat it by 4. I thought Rodgers still played pretty well.
Tennessee's defense blocked a kick, which in our league
extra point.
Tennessee blocking a kick. Yeah. Block kicks in our league are worth a lot. They used to be worth 10. I don't think they're worth nearly that much anymore, but they used to be worth 10 points.
Yeah, it literally went on the touchdown from them from like their 12 points down to like 9 to like 16 because they dropped because of the touchdown, but then the block kick jumped them back
and
up.
They got 2 fourth quarter stops, which helps out their fantasy points too. They had a good game.
Well, Tennessee's defense has actually been. I know I just had a little bit of a right through there. Tennessee's defense has actually been pretty good on the season if you kind of look at their stats. They kept them in the position to use Derrick Henry in the running game and not be forced to throw a lot.
Also used Derrick Henry in the passing game.
Yep.
Fell up 3 for a touchdown. We'll talk about that later.
The new Luke Turd sandwiches are going to have not so new Tony, brand new Slayton.
He's kind of
new.
Still got that new baby smell in Taylor. Yep. Michael Carter's just want you to love him like the rest of them.
Well, I traded for him
too.
too.
And the brand new Cole Kmet.
I'm starting.
And I see a Mr. Keenan Allen's back there in that lineup.
He had to grace that lineup to the week 1.
Let's take a look at what it's saying about Mr. Allen for the week.
Keenan. I do want to point out something real quick before you do that.
Well, they can't see it if you do that.
2 people in my starting lineup were drafted by me. That's it.
Keenan Allen and Devontae Adams.
Yep, that's it.
Keenan Allen is questionable for week 11 against the Chiefs.
I drafted 1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6.
I don't think I drafted Gus. I think I picked him up on draft night.
You had
on hour.
Well,
Allen, Diggs, Brown is 3, Mixon 4, Pittman 5, and I didn't draft a defense.
Allen got a full practice in yesterday.
Which is good because I don't even think the week he played he got a full practice.
They keep asking him. He says, "I want to play. I'm going to try to play." I think Keenan Allen is more likely to play than Mike Williams, but both of them have practiced at least on a limited capacity all week.
The thing that I'm kind of banking on right now because of the Sunday at 8:20, which puts you in a really weird situation. Well, I don't really have another flex to go to, but Carter.
Yeah.
So Carter is a slot receiver. So if they announce Allen's out, I'll plug Carter.
It doesn't matter if he's a slot receiver or not. He's going to be the guy that benefits from Keenan Allen being out, and they play on the same team. So.
Yes. So basically, that's what my
you have a built-in pivot.
Yes.
Ryan, I would have said Jake's going to beat the shit out of you if they played that game in Buffalo tomorrow.
Yeah, the NFL's against my fantasy chances.
If they would have played that game in Buffalo tomorrow, I think I still would have started Josh Allen just for his rushing ability, but I would have had to bench Stephon Diggs.
What about Dawson?
I wouldn't have even picked up Dawson Knox. I picked up Dawson Knox this morning.
Moving that game to Detroit's going to...
And I would have probably been starting Kareem Hunt just because I feel like it would have been so much...
It would have been like that. Who was it last year? It was New England and somebody where they played, and I think New England only threw the ball 3 times.
I do remember what we were talking about. It was like a crazy wind too, right?
Yeah, it was 20-some mile-an-hour winds and snow flurries.
Terrible game.
I think it was on a Thursday night. It was one of the ugliest games of the year.
So...
Gus Edwards, he going to suit up this week?
I don't know. That is my question mark in my lineup. If he does, he's practicing a limited capacity all week, and they said he's legitimately questionable.
Limited all week. Truly questionable. Just week 10 with a knee.
That's really big for my lineup as well because I do not want to play Michael Carter even though he's coming off a bye against New England just because that defense is very good.
So you throw Drake back.
This is the same knee he tore that ACL
on? I don't know. It's a hamstring injury. Not a knee for Gus Edwards.
So I think me and you both will have to change lineups. Well, you obviously would if he is announced.
If Gus Edwards is out, I'll have to throw Melvin Gordon in there.
But if he's out, I will throw Drake in over Carter because he'll be the only back active really
playing against Carolina.
Carolina, which is a better matchup than Michael Carter versus New England.
Sure.
So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now.
Now, boys, with the game being moved to Detroit between Cleveland and Buffalo, can I put Amari Cooper back in? Because he's been great on home games, terrible on away games. How does he do in neutral site games? What are we thinking?
This is like...
legitimate question I want to know.
This follows under the rules of you don't mess when you time travel.
Yeah.
They're trying to break the space-time continuum.
It's like, hey, you take
Michael
if you do time travel, you can't talk to
out.
yourself because it'll throw the whole wrinkle in the whole thing.
I think, here's what I think happens. So it's going to be one order or the other. He's either going to start out great and he's going to repeatedly fumble the ball, and it's going to bring him back down. So he'll get up to like 14 points, and then he'll have enough miscues to take him back to 5. Or he'll start with those miscues and then end up with 14.
I do legitimately want to know how he does, because it has been, it hasn't even been close. Like, he's been great in home games and terrible in away games.
Has Cleveland worn their home jerseys at away games?
Haven't followed him that closely.
It could be a jersey thing.
But they're not playing in Jersey. They're playing in Detroit.
But the New York team's playing Jersey.
That's fair.
It's weird.
Everything is legal in New Jersey.
Michael Pittman.
Yeah, it's Pittman or Cooper in that flex spot. But
Pittman plays a lot better with Matt Ryan because Matt Ryan peppers him with targets.
Sure.
And that's all I ever look at when I'm starting receivers. How many targets do they get? If they are a consistent 8 or above, they're in my lineup because 8 targets means that if you catch even 5 of them, you're already getting 2.5 points.
Yep.
You go for 70 yards, you're already up to 9.5, and then the possibility of a touchdown with it is huge in fantasy football.
Pittman, 13 points.
Pittman for 13.
Oh, wait, way to go bold.
All right, I made a bold prediction because I didn't think I was
11.
I didn't think I was going to be
Projected
here to
at 10.
record this podcast.
10.44.
So I made bold predictions this morning.
Round down.
I had Josh Allen throws a touchdown to both of my other Buffalo Bills, Diggs and Knox, this week.
Whoa.
A double up is what I called it.
Is that a triple-double?
No, it's not a triple-double. Because if it was a triple-double, that means all of them are scored 2 touchdowns, I believe. I don't know. It's a double-up with 2 different players, so I called it a double-double. But you said Michael Pittman scores 14? Is that what you said?
Yeah, go ahead and say 14 so Jake will be a little bit happier about it.
All right, well, I think somebody last week said he was going to score 18 plus, and he didn't. So,
Yeah, bold.
yeah. Well, it didn't happen.
Cole Kmet has flirted with 20, succeeded in that. Does he do that for a 3rd straight week?
Well, he's had back-to-back weeks of 2 touchdowns. I don't know if he'll do that again. I do think it's a good matchup with Atlanta. I think Justin Fields is coming to his own. I do think he scores. I don't want to really venture into yardage. I mean,
Venture.
74-41. So really, if I said like a touchdown and 70 yards, like that's pretty bold. But
Yeah, 70 yards. He's only done it once this
yeah.
year.
So, but
All right,
You want
Cole.
touchdown 70?
All right, we can do that.
Yeah,
we
I can
can
do-
do that. I can give you a touchdown 70.
yeah, the one I really wanted to
What's
look
the interest
at
on that?
7.5%. Not bad.
That's not bad.
was my pickup of Darius Slayton. I think he's really becoming the favorite target of Daniel Jones. Galloway's fat, doesn't care, is lazy on the field.
He doesn't
Not
play
that there's
much.
anything wrong with
Nothing
that.
wrong with that at all.
They're clearly a run-first defense, but when they're taking shots, it's going to Slayton. He's
first
actually
offense
had
also.
pretty good weeks here recently with 17, 9, 13. He had kind of a bad game there with Baltimore at 2 and then 10. I'm going to actually go that he, against Detroit, clipses 100 yards and
Eclipses it also.
and gets a touchdown.
This is Darius Slayton we're talking about, correct?
100 yards and a TD. I like the
About
matchup.
17, 18 points.
Like the matchup.
Oh, how about that, fellas? I like those numbers. Take that from the get. All right. Yeah, the reason I dropped Gerald Everett this morning because he's been getting 4 or 5 points as a tight end, which is basically average for every tight end.
Right.
But I said if I'm only going to be getting 4 or 5 points out of it, I'd rather have a tight end that I can
I'll
possibly
go ahead and tell you at the meeting next
possibly
year I'm
double.
going to remove the tight end.
I hate our other league without having a tight end because I hate looking at the free agency and
You
it
only
being
see a
just
tight end.
all tight ends.
But
at
there
the
is
top.
nothing else to add.
Yeah.
Because everyone else owns every receiver running
Every
back.
All right, we'll bring it up when we
Yeah.
get to the meeting. That's
Which
on me. That's
was
on
my,
me.
That
That's
was my
my
downfall of that thing.
That's
But yeah,
my
it's
I know, that's a tough subject.
yeah,
I
it's
know.
almost fun to look at though. When you
I
look
know.
at just how bad tight ends
We'll
are
bring it
going
up
across
then.
the board.
All right, boys. Y'all ready for some projections here?
Yeah, what we got? You want me to go ahead and give you
Picks. Picks.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
I'll give you Michael's. For Michael picks Ryan in this matchup.
And JT.
JT hasn't sent his picks in, I don't think. Did we even ask him to?
I'll
I thought he was
get
gonna
on
be-
that while y'all
Yeah,
pick.
I thought he was going to be here this morning. I picked myself also. I've already made all my picks as well.
Yeah.
But I picked me and Michael picked me. So, Brian, it's on to you, big dog.
Yeah. Man,
Man, what?
I like an upset here.
I don't.
I like an upset, except I think Josh Allen and Diggs being in the dome will be a difference maker. I think Jake could easily win this. I think it's going to be very close, different than what the projection is for the matchup, but I'm going to go ahead and go Ryan.
All righty. All right. We're waiting on JT, so Jake, you can go ahead and go.
I actually agree with you, Bryan. I stopped looking at Yahoo projections when I'm making my lineups now. Like last week, Tony was at like 5, and I'm like, I know he'll be more involved in it. I think the one thing that hurts my lineup is going to be Devontae Adams against a very good Denver secondary. They have not given up.
He will get your boy the whole time. Patrick Surtain was being on him the entire game.
And so I'm hoping it's more quick routes, which means a lot of catches. I don't think the yardage is really going to be there. I don't even know about the touchdowns. I don't even know if Vegas will score this week. But kind of flipping on the other side, you got a couple of wide receivers who are also having some like pretty good corners going against. St. Brown hasn't looked the same since kind of returning.
He looked good last week, but other than that, he hasn't been that great.
And he's got Slay kind of following him around.
Darius Slay plays for the Eagles now.
Oh, sorry, you got Bradbury.
Yes.
And then the Michael Pittman jumped down there, Slay, and him.
Well, he might not be in the lineup, but either way, Pittman.
And then, but if Cooper goes in, we don't know exactly what he'll do against the Buffalo. So I think there's some
start Cooper.
I think there's some tough matchups.
Hey, Cooper went out of my lineup as soon as I picked up Christian Watson because of the snow game and the away thing. Now I don't know.
Put Cooper back on lineup.
I like 3 different matchups on my side. Tony against bad Chargers secondary.
For some reason, I really like Taylor and Philly.
Well, that's what I was about to bring up is that Philly, since losing their interior lineman,
like he brought up earlier.
I think he can have another solid week for me. I just think Joe Mixon against Pittsburgh kind of cancels that out. I think those two are on track to wash. And then if Gus plays, I think he easily defeats Michael Carter. If I could get Gus out with Drake in, that could make the matchup more interesting.
Sure.
But as the thing stands now, long-ended explanation of my pick, I'm going to pick Ryan.
All right.
Oh, now you're going to apologize for it. I've been doing that shit for 4 fucking years.
Yeah, but I mean,
if Keenan Allen does suit up, I could see. Well, I won't say what it could be, but I think Keenan Allen could have a very, very big.
I'm just nervous of their usage of him.
I just want Keenan Allen to play the game and finish the game.
Yeah.
That's all I want to see.
He's my 3rd round pick who hasn't played a full game yet.
He's my favorite player in the league.
Yeah.
Did you make your pick? Who'd you pick?
He picked me. Everybody's picked me except for JT, who hasn't made picks yet.
Okay.
But I do think it'll be much closer than the 19-point.
Our next matchup, who we got, Ryan?
Yeah. Next matchup, couldn't tell you.
I can, though.
But Jake can.
Broach v. Andrew.
Broach
Madness.
Andrew.
Read those names off.
Madness is like gravity. Smith-Schuster and the Jew. Well, from what I'm looking at my phone, it says Madness is like gravity. Smith-Schuster and the Jew. Ryan, calm down. It's Smith-Schuster and the Juju's.
I just put the Smith-Schuster and the Juju's rock band up on the screen. That's why it make me happy.
Okay.
Not this.
Not
that. But it's there.
When did you record yourself doing that?
For that movie.
JT picked you if you want to add that in.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
All right, so what's the original on this one?
Original projections were Broach 113.61, Andrew 103.9.
Andrew's had one guy go. Broach hasn't. Puts our live projection 113.61. Still for Broach, 102.34 for Andrew.
Yes.
He had Lazard go.
What's
a
up?
solid 8.2.
He's been hurt with the touchdowns because of the emergence of Christian Watson.
I want to bring
For
something
me,
up
I
with
don't think
y'all real
Lazard
quick.
was scoring a ton.
But he got more of the red zone targets.
He was getting the red zone targets.
And now
it's kind of, and Randall Cobb came back, so the underneath stuff that he was getting too, Randall Cobb ate into that. So Lazard got affected by 2 different players coming back healthy.
The best thing that Andrew has going for him in the Smith-Schuster
Is that
injury
those feathered locks that boy's got.
is he has been fighting over where to start Devontae Smith or Lazard every week. We've had this conversation every week. Which one do I start? Now with Smith-Schuster out, he can start both of them.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's questionable. I think he had an illness. Isn't that what it was?
I'm not
did he
sure.
drop Juju?
No, he's
Oh,
not.
never mind.
Juju's probably
I
I
didn't
guess.
scroll down.
Yeah, it says Lamar was questionable with
Yeah.
an illness, but it doesn't say.
I don't think he's going to play. But, I mean,
His coach isn't concerned, but fantasy manager should check the Ravens and Axes before kickoff just to be safe.
The one person I want to bring up
can Carolina hold Lamar to under 27?
Hell no.
Yes.
Will Carolina hold Lamar under 27?
Yes.
You think
Actually,
so?
I do kind of like it because Derek Brown interior push. Derek Brown's been maybe the best defensive interior lineman in the NFL this year. He has been. Go look at his stats, man. He is
He's very
taking
good.
on double teams. He is continuously getting quarterback pressures, and he has been stuffing ISO all year long.
He's very good.
And then it really allows Brian Burns, who I think is a Lamar
Every once in a while,
container, to come off that edge as a bull rusher. But also, like if you try to boot out, you got a guy who can run with you compared to other teams don't have that.
He can't run with him, but he's as close as you're going to get as a defensive
Yeah,
end.
that's kind of what I was meaning in that situation. So I think your recipe to success against Lamar, if you're Carolina, is heavy edge push, trying to contain, make him step up to Derek Brown, and try to contain Lamar that way. But he is coming off a bye week, which also makes me think like he's A, healthy, he's B, game plan for 2 weeks for one opponent. Like you always get a little nervous, like he's got probably more.
Well, usually you
I
don't
was
get
just
a
going with,
questionable tag.
I think Edwards or Drake's going to score, so it's not going to have to be on Lamar. That was my thoughts. And he's only scored over 27 since week 3. He's only done it 0 times.
Oh, that's a good point.
Week 1, 2, and 3, he had 26, 48, and 47.
And I do not like the Duvernay start. I would move Allen Robinson up to that, which is the benefactor of the injury to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, but who do you put in the flex?
Yeah, because Robinson's already in his lineup.
Yeah, I forgot Kirk was on bye this week.
Yeah. Allen Robinson would go up to his wide receiver, and he'd have more options in the flex.
I guess I'd look at maybe Dotson, who ain't done much since he's been kind of injured, but Houston's pass is terrible.
Yeah. Dotson.
I don't
Since
trust
Dotson
Zeke.
got
Well, now wait
hurt.
a second. We also got to discuss Heineke is being disciplined. Him and 3 other guys are. I don't know what the punishment is going to be, but they got in trouble for drinking on the plane. Yeah. They haven't said what it's going to be. I'm sure they're not going to take him out.
It's a fine, probably more than anything else.
I think it's fine too. You're the one that argues with me over it.
Now, hold on a second. With that being said,
You going to drink?
Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator got in trouble with a DUI or something.
That was
Thursday night
celebratory.
game. Well, they might be trying to crack down on alcohol with the NFL. That whole thing about the negative stereotype or stigma, whatever it has. I don't think those guys are going to miss the games, but I'm just saying stay tuned.
Okay.
Devontae Adams pushed a guy. Nobody's heard anything about that in months.
If your Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs would have really been affected in Buffalo, Broach would have been maybe screwed with 6 feet of snow of having Nick Chubb and Singletary start, because you said Chubb and Singletary's heights are what?
I think they said Devin Singletary's 5'7" and Nick Chubb is 5'11", and they're calling for 6 feet of snow in Buffalo.
So
The
literally,
dudes
you wouldn't have seen him.
No,
They would
it
have
would
died
be
because they couldn't
hilarious
breathe.
if they had these. Like you see those wheelchairs where it's got the little red flag on top.
Yes.
So if they had these little red flags on their helmets, and all you could see would be those red flags going through, I think it'd be great. Anyway, AJ Brown, big week against Indy.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, he was hurt. Or he had a injury designation early in the ankle.
Okay.
Is it serious? I don't think so. With Dallas Goedert being out, though, does that mean he gets more targets? Or does that mean he gets more attention on him because he's basically...
I think AJ Brown doesn't truly get affected. I think because he's getting targeted a lot anyway. I think Smith gets more targets. I think Sanders will get more of those little quick out targets.
Okay, so you think A.J. Brown, his role is the
It's
same,
not
it doesn't
really affected,
increase,
yeah.
but you think Devontae Smith gets more underneath?
I think
stuff?
either Smith or Sanders, maybe a little bit of both, get more because Goddard's out now.
I think it could raise the targets of all 3 of those players, but I think it could affect the offense as a whole, not having a tight end to fall back on. So,
Jake, you can go ahead and knock out anything you thought about Andrew making any trades for his running backs, because his 4th running back, Wilson, is on a bye this week, so he's got Connor McCaffrey
But then trade him.
and Foreman him.
And I don't like the Connor matchup. So if there was a week to trade Connor, I wouldn't play Connor this week, to be honest with you. I don't know who else he even has on his bench.
Jeff Wilson's on a bye, like Bryan just said, so you can't.
No, he don't really have much to pivot to there. But Connor against San Fran. San Fran just locked down Eckler, and they're pretty good up front and at linebacker. So I don't think that's a really good matchup.
I did see, I think this morning, Broach picked up Daniel Jones just in case Lamar doesn't play.
He picked up Daniel Jones, dropped another quarterback.
Just cutting through it. Let's say Lamar doesn't play. Do you still favor? Basically, does Andrew have a shot if Lamar doesn't play and Daniel Jones comes in there?
Yeah.
I think Andrew's got a shot flat out anyways.
Really, which guys need to really? Who does he need good weeks from for Andrew to have a
His
shot?
running backs. I mean, that's what his team's going to come down to.
Do you
I
think Foreman could go
inclu-
double digits?
Yeah, I don't think Foreman, since he's been the starting back other than the debacle with Cincinnati,
Yeah.
he's,
Weird,
15, 31, 19?
Two of those games. He's not playing. He doesn't get to play Atlanta the rest of the year, though. Two of those.
Well,
games
that is true. But it's not like Baltimore's defense has been the Baltimore defense of
Right,
old.
it's not.
They've
It's
been
not
giving
the
up
They
points.
traded for somebody too, though, didn't they?
They traded for the linebacker from Chicago.
Roquan Smith.
Who did
Yeah.
Ndamukong Suh just sign with?
Philadelphia.
Okay.
Because we talked about Jordan Davis getting hurt, and they signed
He ain't gonna
him,
play
and
this
they
week.
signed somebody else.
He can't be in that good a shape
No.
this late in the season.
I don't know.
And he don't know what. I mean, I
Now,
guess-
what are y'all's thoughts on Allen Robinson? Because I'm about to send a trade offer to Broach for Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson being the number one option possibly now with the Rams, with Cup being out. Does he?
he's had weeks.
Does he turn a corner where it's like, hey, Cup's not getting 15 targets a game. Those have got to go somewhere. Does he?
Is it him or Higbee?
Before I forget, Higbee,
Higbee.
McCaffrey for 40 points.
Is that bold though?
That's
I'm
pretty
kidding.
fucking bold.
It was bold last week when he went. Somebody picked him for 30. So
Was he
40
on
definitely
bye
bold.
last week?
Huh?
Was he on bye last week? No, they played
They
last
played
week.
the Chargers last week on Sunday night,
Well, so yeah.
and
they
he
were
didn't get.
They were on bye. 3. You didn't hear me. Good.
So they were on bye. No, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Jake, should he start Garoppolo or should he look at picking somebody else up?
I was just kind of looking at
Arizona's
quarterbacks
top
on it.
corner is out. I don't know if Byron Murphy's going to play.
I mean,
Or he was
Russ,
added to the injury report.
you got Wilson versus Vegas, but we don't trust Wilson.
I'd
in
rather have
any
Garoppolo
commit.
over
Yeah.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Golf versus the Giants. Who knows what Golf shows
Who
up?
knows what got? And the Giants' defense has been pretty good.
The Giants have been-
The one that I
solid
would
defense.
consider, the other one that I considered outside of Aaron Rodgers was Kirk Cousins.
What times he play?
Kirk Cousins plays at 4:25 against Dallas. Now Dallas,
Risky.
The Dallas thing.
the Dallas has been a very good defense this year, but Kirk Cousins has been putting up stats.
Kirk Cousins.
Give me his
also
last 3
has-
weeks.
He has
Well-
a cheat code of Justin Jefferson, which
Last week he only
Yeah.
had 17.48. The week before that 20. The week before that 27, 20, 24. I mean, he's pretty
So
consistent.
that's what
at
you're
the
telling me.
20
He's not going to blow it out of the water, but you're going to get some consistency out of it.
Yeah, and
Well,
basically Jimmy Garoppolo's been 22, 20, 20, 21, 15.9.
So you get the same.
So yeah,
But you
they're
do have the benefit. You have 2 other guys in your lineup that any pass completed them.
I
Yeah,
think
but
that's
what
what
he's got.
looking
He's got
at.
the double up
up.
factor
Yeah,
of
that makes
Samuel.
I mean, if he does a little out route to McCaffrey,
yeah.
Yeah.
and he goes for 80 yards, I mean, shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Shit.
he's got
Shit.
higher upside with
Damn.
Garoppolo just for the double up factor,
Right.
but it's going to be tough. I don't know.
You got any bold predictions for Foreman here? What?
Look at the way she's looking at us.
Hey, that sweet puppy
She's looking at us all.
posted up on the block. Look at it. Oh, she's coming
You got
in.
anything bold for Foreman?
For Foreman,
Yeah,
4-man.
I would like for something for Foreman.
I don't know. You make one then.
No pressure.
Well, Bayla's making one for me, and I wanted to go to this guy. She just hit my phone and clicked on Rondell Moore, who I think
I
has
tried
been
to trade for
looking
that dude.
good.
Tried to trade for him and he didn't go for it.
13, 10, 19 over the last 3 weeks. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go all out. I'm going to say 17 fantasy points or higher.
Okay.
That's better
Rondell
than
Moore
your
17
freaking
plus. His largest he's had this year was 19.
And that was a week where I
3 weeks
projected
ago.
he would go for like 90 and a touchdown or something like that, and he
Yeah.
did it.
He's had 13, so that 9. Yeah, that's pretty bold, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good. And I just started the season as like the number 3 or 4
Yep.
on that team, but
I think you'll see a lot of attention paid to D-Hop. You lost Zach Ertz.
Which
Don't
D-
forget, Zach Ertz was getting
A lot of
6, 7
targets.
targets, especially red zone. I mean, he was one of the D-Hop got double teamed, so he always went to Zach Ertz for a little dump pass.
safety valve.
And now the slot
Hawkinson gets his
receiver is
first
who I
Minnesota
think.
touchdown.
Who does?
Hawkinson.
Best tight end in football, boys.
Washington's defense against Houston. Can they be?
I don't give a fuck.
Can they be?
Who cares?
You know what? Fine. Fuck it. Never mind. They can be whoever the fuck they want to be. I don't care.
Good for them.
Houston's a terrible offense, so Washington's defense probably could put up 20 this week.
I think the Jets outscore Washington.
Y'all ready to go ahead and make some picks here?
They've
I'm
been
not-
pretty
I'm not
good.
put- I like that, but I'm not putting it as a
No, that's not
prediction.
bold. I'm
Yeah.
just saying it for the pod. Like,
All
I
right,
think
let's
it's
pick this matchup. Who we thinking?
I'm going to go with Andrew. I wish that he would change his tight end, but if I'm going to make a 40-point output from McCaffrey, I got to go Andrew.
You got to go Andrew. I agree with you. No, I don't agree with you on the pick, but I agree with you. If you're going to make a 40-point prediction for one player, you got to go
I've
with
got
that
to do
team.
that.
All right, so Bryan went with Andrew.
Go ahead with Michael and JT.
Michael went with Broach,
JT went with Broach as well.
and I went with Broach as well.
Jake, who are you going with here?
I went with Broach as well.
Alrighty.
All right, so we
Especially
got
the
Broach,
And Andrew.
Andrew, and Broach. All righty.
Next matchup.
Next matchup, Mr. Rule there.
Mr. Man.
Next matchup. Tyler versus Jordan.
Tyler v. Jordan.
Uh-oh.
Now, listen, Jordan hasn't. He's struggled a little bit against the.
Jordan doesn't have his lineup set. That's basically what I was going with.
Oh.
So I was looking at the
For
matchup.
somebody whose nemesis doesn't set his lineup, he sure is copying them now.
Sure is.
Do you think he feels threatened and he thinks he needs some juju out of this?
Yeah, I don't really know what his bold strategy is here.
I know there's one guy he wants you to know who's playing, and that's Daggum McLaurin. Jay,
Do you think with him losing last week, he's rattled?
It could be. Listen, but here's the thing about Jordan that we all know. Jordan does. Jordan's curse is the playoffs. Jordan does very well in the regular season. He's probably finished first in the past 5 seasons. He's probably finished first more than anybody.
I think it's pretty split though. Who's finished first in the regular season? But I think Jordan might be the only person that's done it more than once. Because I think I've done it. Scorp's done it. JT's done it. He's done it maybe
Jordan,
twice.
we talked about this. I think we talked about this the other day, Jake. He's never played in the championship game.
Jordan
He's
has?
like no. He's like the good version of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I think the only time he might have gotten past the first round is he beat me maybe twice.
He's beaten me in the playoffs once.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I know he's beaten me at least once. I think he's beaten you once. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, he dominates the regular season regardless.
But Jack, we wrote down his point total, did we not?
Yes.
What did he? What did we come up with?
Roughly 129 is what we're
Roughly
projecting.
129. Puts about a 10-point advantage. There's not. I mean, if y'all want to try and highlight a couple guys, Eckler against Kansas City. Ryan, you're an Eckler expert. What do you got in this shit?
Eckler's targets will go down if Keenan Allen and Williams come back. So he's been. All right, let's see if we can find Eckler's targets on the season. Eckler's been good because he scores touchdowns a lot lately. But his game log for receptions have been ridiculous. All right, so past 4 weeks, targets for Eckler: 16 targets, 12 targets, 8 targets, 12 targets.
Yeah.
That's a running back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those will drop, and maybe even touchdowns. But
Now,
just because Herbert hasn't had a lot, and I think they're going to be like, let's maybe let him throw a couple.
Yeah.
I know that sounds silly, but that's their guy. Like, you need in some ways for him to kind of break through, and no better way than giving him some easy touchdowns in the red zone.
Yeah, I think Eckler could be affected by that, but also he might face lighter boxes because there's a passing game. So I think
Well, see, that's the thing. If you're the Eckler expert, you're the coach. Would you run the football more in this game?
against Kansas City.
Yeah.
I think you have to try to keep it out of Pat
You wanna-
Mahomes'
you wanna
hands
keep
as
it
much
out
as
of
you
his
can.
hands, correct.
But if Pat Mahomes goes out there and scores in a minute and a half, like, you got to start responding, because if you just keep running and punting the ball and then Pat Mahomes scores quickly,
How many-
you
But
fall
do you
behind.
know
How
what's
many
just
times
as good
is-
as a running game?
How many times has
A
Eckler?
high completion percentage throwing it to Allen.
Have they
Yes.
played Kansas City yet?
Yeah, they played him week.
How many carries did he have that week?
I don't know, week 2. That was week 2 when they were going back and forth.
He had 13-9.
and Kansas City
13 carries?
No, 13.9 fantasy.
No, how many
points.
carries did he have?
14 carries.
14.
What's
which
his
is
average?
About
About his
14.
average?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
right
14,
around that.
14, 4, 13, 16,
He's averaging like
14,
11 or 12
9.
carries a game, but that was a game where Herbert got hurt
Yeah.
at the end of the game.
Now, we also got to bring this up, that roundabout has something to do with Eckler. There's a chance that both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams come back this week.
Yes.
Obviously, one or both of them are going to be on the snap count. Does that also contribute to maybe Eckler getting more carries?
I don't know if he
Eckler-
gets.
Can Eckler see 22, 23 carries? this
No.
week?
No, I don't think they want to have
Eckler
Eckler that
will
many
never.
carries.
Well, I can't say never. That is never in their plans for him to get more than 18, 19. He might get 30 touches,
Right.
but it's going to be through the air on dump offs.
Yeah.
But it's just he's not built to have that many carries. That's why they've got 2 or 3 other guys to spell him.
So does Josh Palmer step up more?
Buddy, that offense has been broken, besides Eckler, for the last
That's
2
why
months.
I think you're getting yourself a little Sean Payton next year.
I don't think Brandon Staley's the problem. I think they need to have, their offensive coordinator has been Joe Lombardi, who they got from Sean Payton's staff in New Orleans.
Right.
I just think that it's hard to blame an offense for being ineffective when 3 of your top 4 wide receivers are out of the lineup. It's tough when you said, hey, you were supposed to be our number 3 guy all year, now we're going to pepper you with 10 targets, 15 targets a game. So it's hard to judge on an injured team.
Dak Prescott going against Minnesota.
Is that a porn star?
Dak Prescott?
Oh, Prescott, not Breast Scott. Okay, so you just said it wrong. Gotcha.
Had a frog in the throat.
No.
Is that a porn star?
I was hungry. Man, fuck y'all. Justin Jefferson.
Is that a line from a porn movie?
Justin Jefferson also.
Kind of looks like a fantasy stack here at the top. Like
Yeah,
Prescott, Lamb, Jefferson, all in one
Yeah,
game.
It's almost like that's what he drafted.
that's crazy, isn't it? Pierce going against Washington. He needs Pierce to have a big week to have a shot.
I would
Now, in
point
that game, they said Chase Young was supposed to come back. They said they pushed that back another week.
Yeah, I
I
did
think
see
they
that.
spoke
But
too soon.
that defensive line's still been really good
It
without
has
him.
been. I mean, they just beat Philly. Of course, I think Philly might have been just a little bit of a.
But they also
Bruce.
shut down Philly's run game.
They did
which
shut
has
down
been their
Philly's
bread
run
and
game.
butter.
Yep.
And they kept them off the field.
I'm sure Tyler struggled to put Najee Harris in that flex spot, but I don't think he really had much of a
I don't
choice.
think so.
You don't have,
Najee had his best game of the season last week, but if you look at his bench, he doesn't have a choice.
No.
well,
It's Pacheco.
I kind
McKinnon
of
in.
like that.
Yeah, but, you know,
I like Najee
You like him over?
over Pacheco, yeah.
Okay.
I need to see a couple games where Pacheco.
Let's see who you listen to, Tyler, because I'm saying Pacheco and he's saying
I'm saying Najee.
Najee.
Because Najee actually got 20 carries for 99 yards last week.
you need to get confirmation.
Cincinnati's coming off. Who did they just play last week?
They didn't play.
They
last
played
week.
by
bye.
so 2 weeks to prepare.
Yeah, because they beat the shit out of Carolina.
Mhm.
But
I need
Pacheco
confirmation.
Pacheco was the number 1 guy last week. Like I said, Clyde Edwards-Helaire didn't play.
Yeah.
But then Andy Reid comes out and says, man, we really need to get Clyde Edwards-Helaire more involved than he was last week.
Right.
You're the coach and the offensive coordinator and offensive play caller. If you want a guy involved, you can make that happen.
Right.
So I don't know if he's just saying that to make Clyde happy.
He's just trying to make him happy.
Or does he go back and give Clyde a little bit to eat into Isaiah Pacheco? That's why I said I need to see 2 or 3 weeks of Pacheco being the guy.
I think he's just going to lean more on Pat Mahomes throwing the football. I think Kadarius Toney benefits the most out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I think
You know who didn't benefit from Clyde Edwards-Helaire? The Chiefs. They had a chance to draft Jonathan Taylor, and they drafted
what's
Clyde
he
Edwards-Helaire.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to get
Yeah.
confirmation from you that Tyler listens to the podcast for next week. So
All
we're
right.
going to even talk more shit about him, or we're going to let it go.
all right.
Justin Jefferson, 30 points this week.
No,
Is that a bold prediction, or are you just asking a question?
That's not bold for Justin Jefferson.
that's pretty bold for anyone.
Brian, if you say anybody but Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes goes for 30+, that is a bold prediction.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson's already gone for 30.
Well, then make
Went
it
for
big
30
guy.
last week.
Then
He's
go
done it,
do
what,
it.
2 times?
He's got 34 week 1. He's got 26 week 4. He's got 24 week 5.
That's
I
not
mean,
30.
he flirts with it every week.
Well, then call it.
Brian, I'm trying to give you a bold prediction that has happened already, but no, you don't want to take
No,
it. So
I'm
you ain't
not.
getting it.
No, I'm a man of honor.
All right, well, I made my bold predictions earlier. Well, I think I had a couple on this one. No, I had one in this one. I said Tyler Higbee gets 7 catches
Higbee.
and a
Dude.
touchdown.
I would double that. I was literally waiting to make a Higbee call.
Pacheco's the second highest scoring running back on Tyler's team this week.
I'm doubling up with you, big guy.
You on the Higbee one?
Yeah.
I just think that Higbee was very necessary at the beginning of the year anyways. Now you take out Cup.
I think he's
He's going to be looking, hey, who's the white guy I can throw to underneath? It's going to be Higbee instead of Cup.
I guess he is white.
And then what'd you say? What
I
was
know you
your
don't
goal?
see Cup.
Pacheco, the second highest scoring running back on Tyler's team.
Somebody's going to have to tell me how to spell Pacheco. I think I know, but I'm not sure.
Pacheco, and I did that off the top of the dome.
Give it to me again.
Pacheco.
I saw you look down at your phone there.
I want to make sure I said ECO.
He wanted to make sure he spelled it right off the top of the dome.
Because it's like CEO.
Rob, what was your projection for him again?
He's just going to be the second highest running back, scoring running back. He might be a second highest running back too. He doesn't have Kamara.
Yeah.
So second highest scoring running back. If Kamara ever listens to this podcast, he's going to ask me what the fuck my problem is with him.
Rob,
He
if
really-
Dude, what have I done to you?
If Alvin Kamara listens to this podcast and we still only have 13 subscribers, he doesn't have as many friends as I think he's got.
It's
Or he doesn't
about
have the info
quality
on.
over quantity, Ryan.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, y'all ready to make some picks out of this then?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
Who Michael take and who did JT take in this?
All
I'll
right.
give you JT if you grab Michael. You can't, he's not here. But tell me what he picked.
I would grab that fella though. He took Jordon.
Oh, he says beside last week. JT took Jordan as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Jordan.
I'm going Jordan as well.
All right, so I took Tyler and everybody else took Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's how I felt about him and Drew.
Well, I said I started taking Jordan in every single matchup because he kept winning, and then when I started doing that, he started
Let me
losing
change
now.
mine.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Tyler. Sorry, I'm gonna switch it.
I didn't know where you were going to go if you went away from Jordan. I was waiting on
I don't like some of the.
Can we
like,
pick a top?
Well, you got to scroll down to Jordan and like to
Yeah,
look to
it's
his
tough to
team.
look at
and
his.
I don't like Jacobs versus Denver. I don't like that matchup. I mean, I might start both of the Washington running backs just because I think Houston's pretty bad and you might have more opportunity there.
Would
I
you
think
start-
Hobbs going to get a lot of attention against.
Now, when you
San
say
Fran.
both to Washington, and you're considering one of them being a flex and Eckler being the other running back?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure you're not benching Eckler too.
No, Eckler start. But
Eckler,
I mean,
Eckler in prime time is
Yeah.
pretty.
yeah, he's pretty.
Set it in stone.
Yeah.
Except for last week.
I like it.
So I'm going to switch it up.
Okay. What's your next matchup?
Next matchup
I don't know. I'm still thinking about
Bryan v. JT.
Vitamin system versus cult of personality. What was your original projection on this one, Ron?
All right, original projection we had Cult of Personality 117.29. Original projection for Victim of the System was 114.12. Should have been our matchup of the
There's
week.
a changing in the wind, fellas.
Uh-oh, what happened on
Your
Thursday
live
night?
projection now, victim of the system at 122.69 giggity.
Yeah.
Cult of personality has yet to have anybody go. He's still sitting at
Oh, heard that.
117.29. Mr. Roberts here had Mr.
his-
Henry go, who pissed me off last week. Redeemed
Henry.
himself just a little bit.
Not a little.
Totally redeem yourself.
26.36, had a rushing touchdown, and saw Mr. McCaffrey and said, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. No, you can't. Yes, he fucking can. He threw a 4-yard TD pass on
jump pass.
Thursday
In a
night.
formation that said it's a run.
Hey, it's, but
It's not catching.
Mr. McCaffrey did what Mr. Tomlinson did, and he got the trifecta: running, receiving, passing. Mr. Henry didn't catch him one
He can't catch.
because he couldn't. He had arm hair.
Jalen Hurts is going to go for 45 points this week.
Holy cow.
Who is going to do what now?
Jalen Hurts, 45.
Also, I'll make my last bold prediction. This will be my last one. There will be a giving them the business call this week. Giving them the business. Am I the only one that knows what giving them the business is?
I guess.
It's a punch. It's just an actual call. Pull up on YouTube. Giving them the business. Everybody needs to see it. If I'm the only one that knows it. It's giving them the business call will be called this week.
Well, I will say while Ryan's doing that, Herbert has his.
Do you need to
highest
see
out-
it or just hear it?
Either or, whichever one you want to do.
Well, I don't even know what it's called.
You type in giving them the business call.
I got it, but there's like 4 of them.
Get the white guy on the AstroTurf.
Ed Hockley?
No, it wasn't Ed Hockley. He didn't make that call. There's one that's like a minute and 30 seconds. What were you saying, Jake?
I'll wait until
I'll come around there to you. Well, give me some filler here. What a dead air.
Well, Justin Herbert highest fantasy number on the year.
Justin Herbert, how many is he going to put up?
I don't
You can
just
do that.
the highest amount on the year.
No.
so
Don't do that one. Do that one. 245.
Over 29.
29?
He's gonna go for 30.
Is that because he's got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams
I
coming
think
back?
that's gonna help, and I think it could turn into a shootout, but maybe not. But
I know Jake is talky right now, but Ryan knows listen.
It's
So
okay.
if you got a bold prediction, you're going to have to repeat it here in a second.
I'm going.
He'll remind you of it.
All right, here we go. Here's the clip.
Then Ken O'Brien finds Al Toon on a quick screen. 7-0. Jim Kelly, who had words for the Jets all week, was under some intense heat. And not just words. When Marty Lyons tried to bury him in the turf, Lyons is normally mild-mannered, but something touched him off. And when the smoke cleared, the referee, well, the bench is empty. And the referee didn't mince any words in explaining the penalty.
I'll pick this up. On number 99 of the defense, after he tackled the quarterback, he's giving them business down there with the 15.
Kelly got
That is an actual call. That's the actual name of the call.
Let's
give him the business. There's going to be a give him the business call this week.
And the helping safety admired Bill.
I
don't know how we're going to check.
I'll say this, Brian. You're going to have to look that up and fact check that one. I can't do that.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Minute left. But O'Brien.
All right. I'm done. That video. That's giving them the business.
Was it worth it?
Let me work it.
Put the thing down, flip it, and reverse it. Jake?
And then
I didn't know you were going to call him, so I was going to do it.
If it's going to be something ridiculous in wording, you won't go to Jake.
I know. We keep talking about it. That's why I asked him to spell a name.
All right, back to the matchup. Jake said Justin Herbert was going to put up as high as I point of the season. What'd you say, 29 point something?
yeah, he's going to be over 29. He'll go for a 30.
All right, so Jake scores 30 plus for Justin Herbert. All right.
I don't care how he does it for Justin Herbert as long as it gets done. Ryan, tell me something about Chris Olave this week.
Chris Olave, for me, in my opinion,
Just yours is all I need.
needs Jameis Winston back
I think so.
in the worst way possible.
I think so.
Because Chris Olave is getting open consistently, just like he did in college, just like he did earlier in the year. When he had Jameis starting at the beginning of the year, first 2 weeks were okay, but that was when Michael Thomas and Landry were healthy.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas basically does what Michael Thomas does and doesn't play football. He had 3 straight weeks, 19, 14, 13, and then 14. And ever since Andy Dalton's been in there, which I'm not sure why, he's fallen off.
That's a good question. Why is Andy Dalton still there?
Because he's a ginger.
Yeah, they came out and said that Jameis hurt his back, remember, and then they benched him. And now they're saying that he's not healthy enough to play, that he's going to play injured all year.
Yeah.
But he's been healthy enough to dress as the backup. So if he's healthy enough to dress as the backup, he's one hit away from coming in and playing anyways.
Right.
Just play him. You're paying him, play him.
Well, you play to win the game.
Yeah,
you pay to play to win the game.
Yeah. Look good, feel good,
Sure.
play good, pay.
Kyle Pitts is going to suck a dick again this week.
All right. I don't know if that's
Big
bold
one.
because he doesn't
That
get
is
his
a
week.
ball. I say it every week, except whenever I say he's going to score a touchdown. For the record, I'm 100% on predicting his touchdowns this year.
Yes.
I said Jalen Hurts 45. Palmer, how is he affected by
Well,
the
they both
Mike
play.
Williams
He's
team?
I think only one of them's going to play. I don't see Mike Williams playing this week.
You think
Which is why I made
is-
the pickup I made.
Yeah, I think Keenan should play, but yet again, he might be on the snap count.
Yeah.
But
Which
they,
really
they do
sucks.
like
You
right
don't know
now.
how effective the snap count is.
Yeah.
Is he going to be a red zone target? Is he going to just get 4 snaps and he's not worth playing? I hate snap counts. Either play him or sit him.
Yeah.
I'd almost rather him wait another week and be fully going.
Right.
That way you know what you're going to get from him or his backup.
If the Chargers lose this game, their chances of winning the division are gone.
So they got to win.
Because that'll put him, I think, 3 games behind Kansas City, and Kansas City will have swept them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if they win this game, they were split with Kansas City, and they're only 1 game back in the division.
Right.
And they're getting healthier. So they need to win this game. So I think if it at all possible, I think they're going to try to have Keenan out there. And that's just my thoughts as a Chargers fan. There's only 6 of us. We got to stay together.
I, again, want Jamal Williams to fall off cliff so DeAndre Swift can do what I traded for.
Oh, I got an offer for Jamal Williams. As soon as I signed Christian Watson that morning, Scorp sent me a deal. Williams for Watson straight up. I didn't take it.
I don't blame
Good for
you.
you.
Yeah.
blame
But
you.
we haven't talked about it yet. The $100 man
Is in the
Is in the
lineup. Just
lineup.
looked at him. Garrett Wilson against New
I
England.
don't like this matchup.
I don't like this matchup, and I don't like Zach Wilson. Garrett Wilson's probably...
I don't like the Jets.
Yeah.
Why?
Their defense.
If you had to pick a favorite team in New York between the two of them, which one would you pick? If you had to pick between being a Jets fan or a Giants fan, what you going to pick?
Jets.
Jets.
I'd go Giants.
Well, I don't know, actually.
I like the defense on the Jets.
Now, I hate the Jets,
We're talking about historically now.
Okay.
because the last time I thought the Chargers had a legitimate chance to win
Mark
the Super
Sanchez
Bowl,
was your quarterback.
the Jets beat them. Mark Sanchez and Nate Kaeding missed 3 field goals.
Uh-huh.
Really hurt me. And then LT went there.
Cut you deep.
But I was raised a Cowboys fan, and you, as a Cowboys fan, you're raised to hate the Giants. So it's tough. I don't like either one of them. I don't like any teams that
We were
play in New
all
York.
raised to dislike gingers, and we're all friends with Jordan.
Charity cases. I like Charity.
Yeah, everybody needs.
She's nice.
Oh, yeah, about messed up there. All right, Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
His past 2 outings, he was on a bye last week, but his past 2 outings put up 14.5 and 13.9.
Yes.
So, I mean, he's.
And one of those games happened to be against New England.
Yep.
He went 6 for 115 against New England.
I anticipate Saquon, he's still going to have his Saquon-esque.
I think Saquon could go for 30.
I had that written in my text message earlier today and took it out because I was like,
I'll do it.
Detroit
You wanna
loves
match
doing
me?
that. Like
What
beat
are
each
you gonna
other,
wear?
Fight to the death. Can't stand you, man.
Can't stand you. I knew I returned that book.
I believe this is the first time I've had Buffalo go and they're projected to score less points than the other
Than the
defensive
opposing
units.
defense?
Yeah. And I think Baltimore is projected a little too high for Carolina. Although Baker Mayfield is going to be a starting quarterback, which is why DJ Moore's sitting on my bench.
Yes. Now, yeah, I don't see any fault in that because you can put Boyd in there with confidence. I think until Jamar comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Has there
Could
been
be
any,
in a week.
Has there been any update on
Yeah,
that?
they're saying he could play next week.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
I did get an update
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
Jamar
yeah,
Chase
yeah,
could be
yeah,
back next week. And they feel very confident in saying that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm. Go
Question
ahead.
for you fellers.
Yes.
If they announce that Zeke plays, even if they don't, I think I would do this. David Montgomery going in over Tony Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
No Khalil Herbert
Yeah.
going against Atlanta, who
Who's
we've seen
bad against
Devontae
them.
Foreman light up.
They
2 out of the
made
last 3
Foreman
weeks.
look like a stud, which I think Foreman's good, but
But do you think JT's got Montgomery still on the bench because Pollard's looked as good as he has, even though Minnesota's pretty good?
I think it's a mixture of Pollard and the
Or
fact
do you think that
that
Justin Fields is getting all the rushing
right,
yards?
Montgomery's not the number one running back; it's Fields.
Okay, I'm just asking. Do you think that JT would make that move if Zeke decides to dress against Minnesota?
I wouldn't.
Would you leave Pollard in?
I think Pollard's.
Okay.
I think he's going to exceed that projection again. Since he's been the starter,
Since he's been the starter,
he's well, yeah. He has exceeded all projections Yahoo's placed on him.
Yeah.
have you looked at your
They need to
Yahoo
expand.
lately? Couldn't say what's true.
Do you expand your Yahoo?
I try.
So you think
We all think.
that JT needs to keep Pollard in his Yahoo?
Yeah.
All right. I got Fryermuth in mind.
Fire move.
Is that uncomfortable?
No, he's actually.
He's actually quite pleasant.
It's nice. A little dainty, but it's nice.
Well, hello, beautiful.
I've got Mike Williams into my lineup and picked up
Who goes in there if he's out?
Justin Watson, just in case.
DJ go in if Will is out?
No, because
He was a full participant in Friday's practice.
Both of him and
Mike
Keenan
Williams.
were.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yet again, full participant. Still risky to put them in.
It is risky.
Because they do play on Sunday night. But your backup plan, like you just said, you picked up Justin Watson, who played a lot of snaps last week with Juju going out.
He did.
Could go back in there.
So we'll have to wait and see. On
But
that.
that's your only pivot option, right? Yeah, Justin
Yeah.
Watson. So it would have to be a 1-for-1 switch.
It will. You ready to make some picks?
We can do that.
Where's Michael taking this?
All right, Michael took JT.
JT took me.
JT took Bryan.
Based on my Hurts pick, I've got to take JT. I think I can make this a little close, but I think JT's going to pull this one out.
All right. Well, I took Bryan.
Thank you.
And
I'm taking Bryan.
ooh, we're split on this one.
Got ourselves a little split.
All right, so you got JT, Jake, and myself took Bryan. You have Michael taking JT and Bryan taking JT.
All right.
Which brings us to where?
Our last matchup, which is our matchup of the week. And Jake, what do we do with those?
We do a position by position breakdown.
Position by position. Matchup of the week is Scorp v. Michael.
Yep. Michael did not do us the courtesy of setting it
JT and
Or
I.
showing up.
JT and I were 5-point difference. We did a quick math on this, and Scorp and Michael.
Do math.
Michael's about 110.5, 111 compared to Scorp at
114.17. Need you guys anybody go? I hate doing Michael in matchup of the week because it's
You
just
love doing
so
Michael.
gosh darn difficult.
Now, who does he start at quarterback? Fields or Deshaun Watson? Oh, never mind. We still
Watson's
got
still
another-
out, so we got to go Fields.
He should always leave Watson on free agency is what he should do.
Dude, Fields is going to make this a fun matchup.
Okay.
I'm serious. Like,
He's
Pat
a
Mahomes
he's-
versus Fields.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
always going to say Pat Mahomes. But look
Fields
at
is a complete X factor. man.
against a bad Atlanta
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah.
Who we
It's-
just said has been getting toasted on the run.
Fields 2 rushing touchdowns this week.
All right, what's your bold prediction?
Fields 3 rushing touchdowns this
All right,
week.
I'll give you 2.
And he was feeling bold.
Yes, I did. Having Justin Fields this past month has basically been what Michael Vick was that year he started in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it didn't matter what you did, the dude could put up 50 every week.
Pat Mahomes.
You gotta buy me a drink first.
Touch my boys.
What?
Who are you going to take in this matchup, Jake?
Pat Mahomes, but I think it's going to be fun.
You going to take Pat Mahomes? Who
I
are you
think
taking?
Chargers shut him down. I don't think that, but I think Justin Fields.
Yeah, I'm going Justin Fields as well.
I don't even know who's.
It's just because it's the #1 fantasy quarterback. Well, player. And
Pat Mahomes is #1 overall, but the past 5 weeks, Justin Fields is lapping everybody.
He still put up, what, last week? 39, 36?
Oh, dude, Mahomes has been great, but
so,
the last couple weeks,
40,
Fields has been with 50 and 40.
That's true.
Wide receiver matchup on Scorp's side is Johnson, Ayuk, and Thielen.
Ayuk! I've got a bold prediction. I'm saying Deontay Johnson scores his first touchdown. I made it last week and it didn't happen, but it's going to happen this week.
I'll ride that train with you, brother.
All right.
For Michael, we're going to have Gabe Davis, Jacoby Myers, and Cortland Sutton.
All right.
Gabe Davis is at 10.23, Myers 9.87, Sutton at 10.45.
I think Sutton goes 100 and a tutty.
Oh, well, that up mine that I typed in earlier.
What?
Cortland Sutton, I said earlier in that text, 75 and a touchdown. So you said 100 and a touchdown?
100.
Can you bump your prediction of 25 points? Ride with them on that?
25. Not points, yards.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I can do that. I don't think it's going to be right. And if it's not, I'm going to be upset. If it's 76 and a touchdown, I'll call that on Bryan.
Okay. Who are you taking wide receivers?
I'll have to go back and look at them in a second.
I'm going to take Mike.
I'm going to take Scorp's wide receivers here.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm going to take Michaels too. I think with Hawkinson, like I said earlier, with Hawkinson being in Minnesota, he's basically made Adam Thielen irrelevant in my opinion. Because Thielen had been...
Let's look at Thielen. How long has he been... how many games has he played?
Hawkinson's played 2 games.
Thielen's last 2 games, 8.2, 7.4.
Well, I mean, Thielen's numbers haven't changed, but I feel like his numbers last year, why he was so good last year and the past couple of years, the dude scores a ton of touchdowns.
Well,
and he gets a lot of short touchdowns in the red zone.
His targets are staying about average, though.
His targets are the same, but look at his touchdowns this year. He's got 2 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, but I mean...
And I think with Hawkinson there...
He's more of a threat to take.
He's got a chance to be that red zone threat that Thielen's been the last couple of years.
I see what you're saying.
So I think Thielen's going to be the same player he has been, but he just doesn't have as much of a touchdown upside as he's had in years past. And that's what I think about that.
Your running back matchup on Scorp side, you got Dalvin Cook, Cordell Patterson. For Mike, you're going to have, let's see, Fournette, Ramondre Stevenson
and Kamara.
Stevenson at 13.4 going against the Jets. Kamara at 15 going against the Rams.
Some bad matchups.
I'm going Mike all day on that one.
Yeah.
I would have a good matchup versus Dallas. Who knows what Patterson's
got a good matchup against Chicago, but it's just how...
If Patterson gets played, I will go Scorp. If they put him on the damn field and let him play, I go Scorp.
We don't know that, Brian. We know he's healthy.
I know that. I don't think Kamara reaches that 15. I think Kamara could actually have a single-digit week this week.
I'm saying Kamara goes over 20, so we're going to split on that one.
Well, one of us is going to be right, one's going to be wrong.
Well, all right, actually, y'all both could be wrong. Because he could go for 12, and that's not 20, and that's not single-digit.
Yeah. I don't like you today.
All right, so, Brian, you're saying that
it's okay.
Alvin Kamara's single digits?
Yeah.
All right. And I'm saying Kamara goes for 20 plus.
So you're taking Mike's running backs?
Yes. I think I've taken Mike's on everything so far.
Who are you taking here?
Mike's.
I'm going to go Scorps on this. Your flex.
You're going to skip tight ends? They don't matter anymore?
Oh, fuck. Tight end.
Brian loves tight ends.
Kittle versus...
Dalton Schultz?
Yeah, more than likely. It's either going to be Schultz or Peoples-Jones.
It's going to be Schultz because
Schultz
plays wide receiver. It's Njoku is who you're thinking of.
Oh, my God, Njoku.
Same team.
Dalton Schultz versus Minnesota, 8.24. I'm going to go Schultz. Because I just don't trust Kittle, man.
I think Schultz is the 4th best tight end the rest of the year. Could move up to 3 if Andrews goes out.
Mm-hmm.
Got Kelsey clearing away number 1, Andrews 2, and I think Hawkinson sliding into that 3rd spot.
Okay.
And with Goddard going down, Ertz going down, Waller on IR, I mean it's wide open.
Watch out for Cole Kmet.
Dang right, watch out for
I'll tell you, Cole, I really like that. That was a really good pickup.
I'm telling you, I had 2 picks. Like, hey, I'm getting one of these 2 guys this week between Christian Watson and Cole Kmet. Got one.
You got the one you wanted.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But the trade I was going to talk about in this when we got to this matchup, I tried to trade Michael this week. We had it pending all week. We talked back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I offered Gerald Everett and Amari Cooper for Jacoby Myers and Dalton Schultz. And we ended up saying he said he was going to ride with possibly David Njoku all year,
Mm-hmm.
which he's not quite healthy yet. But if he comes back and Deshaun Watson likes throwing to a tight end, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it didn't end up happening.
Well,
I
I've
also
already-
tried to get Ramondre Stevenson.
I've already made enough trades with him. I can't go after Schultz because if he ends up winning the whole damn thing, I'm going to be
Well, if
pissed
he
off.
did, if you got Schultz off his team, you're going to have to give up Derrick Henry because he wants the set of Brian Roberts running backs.
I'm sure he does.
I do too.
It's very valuable as a complete set.
I like Brian's set.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Am I unzipped?
All
right, Jake, who are you going?
this thing.
Who are you going at in this matchup?
On tight
I'm gonna go
ends?
Schultz.
You going to go Schultz
Yeah,
on
I'm
that?
going
Yeah,
Schultz.
I think we are. So your flex, you got Jamal Williams.
Who was
for-
Triggs flex? Did we say George Pickens? Or who did we say?
I can't remember who we said.
All right, his wide receivers you said were Myers, Davis,
And Sutton.
and Sutton. So Pickens.
Yeah, it would be
Pickens. One of those is going to be in the flex.
It's either going to be Pickens or
Peoples-Jones.
Peoples-Jones.
I would say Pickens. I think you get Pickens.
Okay, so Pickens was got 8.53 going against Cincinnati.
I'm going to take Williams.
I'll take Williams in that match.
Yeah.
Just because of touchdown.
Yeah.
And because the past 2 weeks, I think Swift's got, 10 touches in 2 weeks? I don't think he's going to be healthy the rest of the year. I think they're because
I think he's healthy. I think they'll be bitches.
Well, Williams has been effective with his touches, so why take it away?
Because Swift would be better.
Would he though?
Yes, he would.
Would he though?
Yes.
What about Buzz?
Nobody cares about it. Well, it's Tim Allen.
Yeah, come on now. You know who else
Have
cares?
I told y'all that
Andy
I
cares.
really can't stand Tom Hanks? Like, I despise Tom Hanks.
Why?
Because he touched him on the island.
No,
That's Wilson.
I think
That's
he's
Bryan.
a piece of shit person. Like, I think he's a horrible human being.
Okay.
Which doesn't really pan out because I think Tom Cruise is a piece of shit, but I like his movies.
So
Okay.
you're telling me you're going to sit there
Look
in
at
the
me.
fireworks stand.
Right.
The man taught Elvis how to dance,
He did.
shook the hand of the president, had to go pee, went into the pool right there at the monument.
Mm-hmm.
What else did he do? He
Got
played the
taken
ping pong.
advantage of
Yes,
by the
Chinese.
biggest
Yeah.
villain in movie history.
She had AIDS.
Uh-huh.
Who she had a kid she named Forrest,
Mhm.
which is pretty ironic. His name's Forrest too, and he's got a daddy named Forrest.
Right.
And you don't like him?
No.
You're gonna sit there on a fireworks stand.
I'm going to take Jamal Williams.
Yeah, I take Tom Hanks. I don't remember what we're talking about.
Your defensive matchup, you got Cincinnati going against Pitt, and you're going to have New
What
England.
about the fella that let Michael Clark Duncan out of jail
He did
to
do
help
that.
heal his sick wife
He didn't do that.
and heal his
I
thing
can't
because he was
stand the
burning
guy.
away pee?
I can't stand the guy. I don't like him.
I don't know if I'm podcasting you anymore,
He's barely doing it now.
but I do love Tim Allen.
Who doesn't? Jake?
The left doesn't.
That comes out
What?
next week.
What
There's a new
does?
Santa Claus?
Either making a TV making a TV show of it for Disney Plus.
You know they're also making a Santa Claus movie with David Harbour, and it's a action movie.
Is that the one where Santa Claus, they're going to try and kill Santa?
Yeah.
And he uses his magic to...
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
What are we doing as... in older comedy movies, they would have made this as a joke. Because nobody would watch that.
Yes. But you know what happened?
What happened?
They made
COVID.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and it made money.
Mm-hmm.
They made Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and it made money. So like, hey, you know what? We're going to take this, and we're going to do another spin on it. They're also making that Winnie the Pooh movie you talked about.
I won't see it. I do want to see it. Me and Christopher are going to go see it.
Yeah.
You know when the last time me and my brother went to see a movie was?
No, tell
I
us.
know the movie.
Are you talking about what year or what movie? What are we guessing?
I know the
What
movie.
year
Guess, I mean,
Are
you
we
pretty
guessing
much
what
know
year or what movie?
Guess the either or.
2005.
No, it's
98.
I think it was around 98. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a cartoon movie. It's a Disney movie.
The Goofy movie.
That's a good one.
That was a good movie.
That was a good movie and a good guess.
Pocahontas.
That was like 94, man.
Has
Were
it been
you-
that long?
Were you just? I know your brother secretly was hoping they handed him the blanket with the smallpox, but didn't happen in that movie.
No.
But that's what he was hoping. Sorry, Jake. Didn't mean to bring that up.
Because after that movie, we kept making. He said Pocahontas and John Smith or Spit, and I thought that was the funniest shit.
And then he went to Burger King and got those little collector's cups, little plastic ones.
You should see him play GTA. All right, for Michael is going to be New England's defense against the Jets, 13.5.
I'm taking Cincy's defense.
I'm going to take Cincy too.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's offense, while I still think they've looked a little bit better with Harris being successful, they're still not good.
Yeah, but I mean, Zach Wilson's not much better.
I'm actually going to take the Jets.
Yeah, because Zach Wilson plays on the Jets.
But-
Oh,
take
well,
New
not the
England.
Jets. I'm going to take New England
Yeah.
against the Jets.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because Belichick has taken 2 jobs as head coach for the Jets, never ever
coached
coached a game. He
And they got-
hates the Jets more than he hates anybody.
Well,
Well, except no. Eli Manning's number 1, but the Jets are number 2.
right.
Thoughts?
I concur.
I concur.
I
Who are you
watched,
taking
I
over
watched 2
matchup?
Bills not too long ago.
I took Cincinnati.
Yeah, we took.
No,
I took
I meant-
Cincinnati. Are you talking
Oh,
about
overall
matchup?
matchup?
All right. Well, I took Michael.
Okay. Michael took.
Michael took Scorp.
JT took Scorp.
JT took Scorp.
I'm gonna go with Michael. I think he's got a hot streak going.
I think I took Michael on every single position except for flex and the defense.
Michael should be the most feared going into the playoffs.
We talked about this last week that Tyler could possibly be that team also.
Well, right now Tyler's not in the playoffs.
I know, but Michael has that X factor that we talked about with Justin Fields. We don't know.
Tyler's not going to make the playoffs because he doesn't listen to anybody's advice on this podcast. And now he's trying to blame everybody for that and refuses to listen to the podcast.
I'm going to take Michael.
Okay, Jake took Michael. There's that.
All right. Okay. Well, I believe we
So-
said just about all we could say,
We are out of words to use.
which is odd for us. Jake, you got any more thoughts on celebrities you don't like?
Nope.
JT, enjoy that meat that's in your mouth right now.
Yes. Savor the flavor of that meat.
I'm sure you will.
Yes, he always does. What I hear.
Everybody, make sure you check your Yahoos.
Yes.
Do we got any early games?
We have. No, the game out of town this year is the Monday night game. It's in Mexico. Mexico Monday night.
Mexico.
So Mexico.
We're not having Trump's America. All right. It's good seeing everybody.
All right.
Y'all have a good Sunday. We'll talk to you next week.
From us to y'all.